Chapter 2156. A day passed, and Qin woke up. He shivered violently. He was awakened by an incomparable fear. Being together with Liu Shuyan and enjoying the deep affection and sweetness filled him with endless happiness. But it was also because of this that he was afraid of losing everything. This aroused the fear hidden in the depths of his heart. Therefore, when he woke up, he subconsciously thought that everything he had just experienced was wonderful, as if it was a dream. He looked at the dreamy and gorgeous beauty nestled beside him and felt the gentle touch of her skin. Only then did he know that this was not a dream. Liu Shuyan gently rubbed his heart and said gently, "Don't be afraid. I am here. Did you have a nightmare?" Qin did not say a word. That fear was his fear of the chaos race. Although he had almost forgotten about this experience several times, it still flashed through his mind from time to time. Back when he was the king of the Nine-Yang Palace, he had been beaten up by a child from the Chaos clan. Qin gently held the delicate lily-white hand that was rubbing his heart and said with a smile, "Did you have a nightmare?" "Why would I have nightmares when I'm with big sister Shuyan?" "I knew it. How could you have nightmares when you're with me? Although I'm the god of slaughter, I'm only a nightmare for others." Liu Shuyan's dreamy and beautiful face is filled with blurred charm, causing Qin to be somewhat absent-minded. Qin had nearly forgotten that this charming and gentle, gorgeous beauty was a god of death. "Sister Shuyan, I'm fine now," Qin said with a smile. "By the way, you previously had an avatar that came to the Divine Desolate. How is it now?" "Of course it's good. It's in the Guanghan Palace." Liu Shuyan chuckled and said, "What? Do you like my clone more? In the future, I'll let my clone come as well." Qin said with smile, "Sister Shuyan, I really couldn't tell that you are as bad as you well on." Liu Shuyan charmingly smiled and said, "Don't you know whose disciple Yuelon is? This naughty girl once had my soul and soul." Her face suddenly became serious, and she said in a low voice, "Xiao Yun, why were you scared awake? How could you be scared awake when you are with a beauty like me? What are you afraid of? Are you afraid of me? Do I really scare you that much?" Because she once had all sorts of entanglements with Qin, but in the end, they were still together. After all, what happened before was all a misunderstanding. "I'm afraid of losing you." Qin hugged her tightly and said with a sigh, "I am not invincible. In this world, there are many powerful people. I am not their match." Liu Shuyan's jade face rested on Qin's chest and said softly, "What kind of opponent is it? Even you are afraid? Let's not talk about this. There must be many things waiting for me outside." Qin smiled and said, "Sister Shuyan, you and I have already cultivated the Sun-Moon Heart Sutra to the 3rd level. Do you feel any changes in your divine veins?" "Yes, I have 9 Sun divine veins," Liu Shuyan said with smile. Xiao Rou said it before. "There is nothing strange about it." Qin nodded. He is still somewhat doubtful and said, "How can Sister Rujing have 9 Yin divine veins? You and Yuelon both have 9 Yang divine veins." "I don't know, but it doesn't matter." Liu Shuyan charmingly smiled and said, "Xiao Yun, have you truly recovered 9 Sun royal family's bloodline?" "Of course not." Qin shook his head and said with smile, "I am having a headache because of this matter. I told a gargantuan lie." Liu Shuyan said with smile, "It seems like the swindling memory of a mortal king, Fu Yun, has a great influence on you. However, your swindling was very beautiful. I almost believed it." Not only her, apart from Xiao Yuelon, almost everyone believed it. Even Qin Long thought that Qin Yun has truly recovered 9 Sun royal family's bloodline. But I still underestimated those big shots. They will surely verify my 9 Sun royal family's bloodline. Qin said with frown, "I have a headache. How can I fool them? If they know that I am swindling them, they won't cooperate with me to recover royal family's bloodline." "This is simple." Liu Shuyan proudly smiled and said, "Simple? Sister Shuyan, do you have a good idea?" Qin promptly asked. "Don't forget, back when I was Yao Fong, I cooperated with you to deal with Devil Immortal Great Emperor." Liu Shuyan mischievously laughed, then took out a small bottle and asked, "Do you know what's inside?" What is it? Could it be that after eating it, one can recover 9-son royal family's bloodline? Qin Yun guessed. Even though I am 9-son divine maiden, I don't have that kind of thing. If I truly had it, I would have already helped Yuel on, Yuan Mei, and little Mei recover their bloodline. After Lu Yu Shuyan opened the bottle, a very strong blood energy floated out. Qin Yun smelled the blood energy and said in shock, "This is 9-son royal family's pure blood." Lu Yu Shuyan mischievously laughed and said, "Little Yueshi gave it to me. She said that her blood can scare off some rather formidable beasts. I have never tried it." Princess Yushi is the Moon Clan's empress, the only 9-son royal family member in Divine Desolate. With her blood, it was indeed proof. "Very good, this way I can deceive them," Qin Yun said. "I really need to recover 9-son royal family's bloodline." "Xiao Yun, what exactly did you experience? Why are you so awesome?" Lu Yu Shuyan doubtfully asked. "Did you really use 9-son world extermination scripture?" Qin Yun shook his head and said, "No, I only cultivated 9 divine profound Tao images." After Lu Yu Shuyan heard this, she said in shock, "Really?" Qin Yun nodded and said, "Really? Very good." Lu Yu Shuyan is very happy. She immediately hugged Qin Yun and smiled tenderly. What 9 divine profound Tao images means, Lu Yu Shuyan is very clear. "Don't be silly. Granny Qianghua has been waiting for a long time." Suddenly Xiao Yuelan's laughter arrived. Xiao Yuelan suddenly appeared beside her. This caused Lu Yu Shuyan to shout in shock. "Yuelan, when did you come?" Lu Yu Shuyan said in panic. "I've always been here. I've never left." Xiao Yuelan laughed loudly and walked over to pinch Lu Yu Shuyan's beautiful face. "You little girl, you're really messing around. I'll beat you to death." Lu Yu Shuyan is somewhat angry. She immediately vigorously pinched Xiao Yuelan's face. Xiao Yuelan giggled and said, "Beat me to death so that you can take Xiao Yun for yourself, right?" Lu Yu Shuyan and Xiao Yuelan are already in a mess. Qin Yun has already put on his clothes and walked out of the floating cloud pagoda. Looking at his refreshed and radiant face, the star god and Xiang Yalan secretly spat. Because Lu Yu Shuyan had gone in for an entire night and did not come out, the star god somewhat regretted not going in. Qin Huayu really wants to know what kind of divine being this Xiao Qin, who calls her big sister Qin, is to be able to capture the hearts of so many powerful goddesses. "Xiao Qin, the big shots of the other clans are waiting for you." Granny Qianghua said, "What should we do now? If you don't have a true bloodline, they won't believe you." Qin Yun took out a small bottle and said, "This is a bottle of blood. I'll give you a few drops. Take it out and show it to them." "This, will it work?" Granny Qianghua's face is filled with doubt and asked, "Xiao Qin, have you recovered your bloodline?" Qin Yun said with smile, "Granny, let's collect the blood." Granny Qianghua can only take out a jade box. Qin Yun dripped a few drops of blood on the jade box. Those few drops of blood flickered with 9-colored light and emitted a very formidable aura. This. Although Granny Qianghua has never seen true 9-son royal family blood, it looks exactly the same as the legends. "Just give it to them," Qin Yun said with smile. "Tell them that because I ate a forbidden divine pill, I forcefully erupted with formidable power and injured my body and soul. I need to recuperate for many days, so I can't meet them for the time being. It is best not to meet those old fellows for the time being, so that they won't be able to see through him. All right, these few drops of blood are enough." Granny Qianghua is very happy and said with smile, "Then you stay in Jasper Flower Valley for a while. I will go deal with those guys first." Granny Qianghua is very excited and promptly left Jasper Flower Valley. "Xiao Qin, are you really seriously injured?" Qin Huayu anxiously asked. "If he is seriously injured, it is because he was tormented by Sister Shuyan and Yuelan," Star God said with giggle. This caused Qin Huayu's face to immediately turn red. Qin Yun pinched Star God's charming face, then sat down and said, "Will Myriad Realms Divine Court make any big move? This time I got the Thunder God locked up. You need to worry about Primal Chaos Race." They will surely make a move in 3 years. Xian Rujing said. Qin Yun's expression gradually became grave when he mentioned primal chaos race. Because the primal chaos race here is different from the ones he met in Ancient Desolate. He also doesn't know if there is a powerful primal chaos race like Ancient Desolate in Myriad Heaven's Divine Desolate. If there is, then it will be very troublesome. I'm fine. I want to go back to Flower Moon Pavilion to find Dog God. Are you coming with me? Qin Yun asked. No need to go back to Flower Moon Pavilion. He is at Qi Manor. He has been waiting for you for a long time. Xiang Yalan said with smile. Qin Huayu said, I will let Dog God come. Qin Yun nodded, then entered a secret room and waited for Qin Huayu to bring Dog God over. Dog God came by himself. Moreover, it is an avatar. Boss Divine King, you are truly awesome. You actually dared to offend Thunder God, and even cause him to be imprisoned by Divine Judge. Dog God saw Qin Yun and waited for Qin Huayu to come over, then promptly exclaimed in admiration and said with smile, Dog God, I asked you to investigate the whereabouts of Heavenly Mother in Qin Yao King City. Have you found anything? Qin Yun asked. I have. She has not left Qin Yao King City. She is still in the city. Moreover, she is very low-key. She doesn't look like a Heavenly Mother at all. Dog God said in low voice. Boss Divine King, don't tell me you want to kill her? Or should I arrest her? Why do you ask? Qin Yun asked. Chapter 2157. The reason why Qin Yun sought out the Heavenly Mother was because he wanted to understand the situation of the Heavenly Law Divine Realm. The internal situation of the Heavenly Law Divine Realm was rather complicated. There were some very secret matters that the outside world did not know about. Because of the birth of the Divine Desolate Land, the matters of the Heavenly Law Divine Realm were known by more and more people. However, what most people knew was that it had been whitewashed by the Heavenly Law Divine Realm. There were many shady dealings in the Heavenly Law Divine Realm that were extremely dark. The Dog God said, There's a rumor that the Heavenly Mother's heavenly embryo was taken away and all of her subordinates were killed. She doesn't have any subordinates at all. Furthermore, she comes from the sacred realm. Logically speaking, it would be very difficult for the Heavenly Mother in the sacred realm to come to the God realm. Qin Yun understood all of this better than the Dog God. The Heavenly Mother's heavenly embryo was taken away by the Goddess of Love, the Heavenly Mother, Moai. And the reason why the Heavenly Mother was able to come to the God realm was also because of Qin Yun's help. And Qin Yun asked, in these aspects, she is different from other Heavenly Mothers. The reason why she is special is because she came to the God realm from the sacred realm and obtained a very powerful power, allowing her to obtain a new heavenly embryo. The Dog God said, then she is still alone and has no other subordinates. Could it be that her heavenly embryo can't give birth to a heavenly man? Qin Yun said, that's the special part. Her heavenly embryo can't produce a heavenly man. It can produce 2 other kinds of creatures. Of course, this is all gossip. I can't verify it. The Dog God said, what 2 kinds of creatures? Qin Yun felt that this was most likely true, because the Heavenly Mother was able to come to the Divine Desolate Land. She was indeed a rather special existence. Furthermore, she had once received the help of the Yang Seed, fairies and beasts. The Dog God said, her heavenly embryo is not in the Heavenly Law Divine Realm, but in her own hands. The Heavenly Mother could give birth to fairies and beasts through the heavenly embryo. This was indeed very special. Dog God, take me to her. Qin Yun said, Boss God King, you want to capture her? Dog Deity said, I heard that the Imperial Sound Heavenly Mother is also a rare and beautiful Heavenly Mother. Many Heavenly Mothers are old and faded, but she is very young and beautiful. What are you thinking? I just want to see her. Qin Yun said with smile. Boss God King, is it convenient for you to leave the Qin Manor now? Dog Deity asked. They should be watching you very closely, right? The Dog Deity believes that Qin Yun has a 9-son bloodline in his body, and the big shots of the various imperial clans are still in the Qin Mansion. No problem. Bring me to the Imperial Sound, Heavenly Mother. We will secretly leave. Qin Yun said. All right. The dog deity nodded. After Qin Yun and dog deity left the secret room, he told Xiao Yuelon and others that he will be going out to find Qin Zhangquang and won't leave the city. As for Lu Yu, Shu Yin, and the others, they were also returning to the Flower Moon Pavilion. Qin Huaiyu was also dragged by Xiao Yuelon to the Flower Moon Pavilion to play. With that, Qin Yun and dog deity followed them out of Jasper Flower Valley in Qin Manor. Qin Yun and Dog God did not go to Qin Zhangquang's place. They sat in a large carriage and headed towards a residential area in the western part of the city. There are many old houses in the west of the city. Qin Yun said, She's staying here? According to my investigation, after she entered the city, she didn't leave the old house in the western part of the city. Even when there was a huge commotion earlier, she didn't go out. The dog deity said, Strange, I feel that the Imperial Sound Heavenly Mother is here to investigate the matter of the Heavenly Tao Pagoda. The matter of the Heavenly Tao Pagoda was done by me, Qin Yun said with frown. The dog deity also knows the reason why the Imperial Sound Heavenly Mother was sent here. Therefore, he feels that the reason Qin Yun is looking for the Imperial Sound Heavenly Mother is to kill her or capture her. Dog deity, have you seen her with your own eyes? Qin Yun asked again. He feels that the Imperial Sound Heavenly Mother is acting so mysterious. She must be up to something. I've never seen her, but I'm sure that she was the only one in the old house. She opened the door, but didn't come out. She was wearing a mask, so I couldn't see her face, but I'm sure it was her. The dog deity said. Less than half an hour later, Qin Yun and dog deity finally arrived at the old house in the western part of the city. There are many old houses here. On the contrary, there are very few tall buildings here. The main reason is that this place is very quiet. Moreover, it is not at the center of the treasure land. Although there are medicinal plants growing here, very few people come here. After arriving here, Qin Yun learned that the old residences here are all relatively expensive. Some low-key bigwigs live in these old residences. The dog deity's large carriage is parked outside an old house. The old house looks very old, but there's a very strong barrier separating the courtyard. Qin Yun went over and knocked on the door. Dog deity is very nervous. He is worried that Qin Yun will kill the Imperial Sound Heavenly Mother and cause a huge commotion. After waiting for a while, no one came to open the door. Is there no one inside? Qin Yun looked at the dog deity. Just now he used his mental power to probe, but it was blocked by the barrier. There is. Boss Divine King, I knocked on the door a few times, but no one came out to open the door. Dog deity said in low voice. Then let's return to the carriage and see if we can wait for her to come out or not. Qin Yun also doesn't know what the Imperial Sound Heavenly Mother is doing. It seems like she is in seclusion. At night, dog deity's expression suddenly changed. He said in low voice, Boss Divine King, two very strong auras are approaching. A Heavenly Emperor and a Heavenly Mother. Qin Yun nodded his head and said, Imperial Sound Heavenly Mother has been staying here for many days. She has not gone out to do anything. It is very normal for people to come and ask her questions. Dog deity said. Heavenly Emperor, Heavenly Mother arrived at the courtyard's entrance and vigorously kicked the door. Imperial Sound, quickly come out. We know you are inside. If you don't come out, we will fight our way in. The Heavenly Emperor said in deep voice. Heavenly Emperor, Heavenly Mother is a heavenly god. It is not difficult for Qin Yun to kill them. He is currently holding a small pistol in his hand. They kicked the door for a while, but no one came out. Boom! Heavenly Emperor, Heavenly Mother used a very strong power and forcibly broke the door. Qin Yun and Dog God are inside the carriage. They are looking through the window and seeing something very strange. After Heavenly Emperor, Heavenly Mother opened the door, it seems like she saw something that caused them to be very scared, and then they were sucked inside. Dog deity's heart trembled. He said in low voice, Boss Divine King, that Imperial Sound Heavenly Mother is truly evil. That courtyard's barrier is very strong. When we were floating in the air, we could only see the flowers and grass inside the courtyard. It must be an illusion, Qin Yun said in deep voice. He used Heavenly Eye to look, but he could not see through the illusion formation. The courtyard's gate closed, and everything became calm again. Qin Yun said, "Dog deity, wait for me here. I will go take a look." Although Dog deity is very scared, he is still determined to go with Qin Yun. Even though this is his puppet avatar, his perception is very strong. After arriving outside the gate, Dog deity's expression changed. That Heavenly Emperor, Heavenly Mother's aura is gone. Qin Yun slightly inhaled a mouthful of air and then sent a palm attack towards the gate. After the courtyard's gate opened, Qin Yun and Dog deity's expression abruptly changed. When they looked at the courtyard from the sky, it was indeed an illusion. After they opened the gate, they saw a very shocking scene. There are many tortured and bloody corpses. Their stomachs have been cut open. There are all kinds of mutilated body parts that are leaking poison. Also at this time, a very strong suction force sucked Qin Yun and Dog deity inside. After being sucked in, Qin Yun and Dog deity found themselves in a disgusting and bloody place. Luckily, they are very experienced. They are only startled at first, but they quickly adapted. They passed through the bloody courtyard, walked towards a door, and entered a large hall. Heavenly Emperor, Heavenly Mother is sitting inside the large hall. Now Qin Yun and Dog deity realize that there are many people inside this old residence. There are even people from Primal Chaos race. Dog deity is very nervous in his heart, but because he is following Qin Yun, he feels a lot more at ease. Qin Yun has changed his appearance a bit. He has disguised himself as a refined scholar. "Who are you, sire?" Old Heavenly Mother asked. No comment. Qin Yun indifferently replied, "Who are you to Imperial Sound? When did that wretched slut start colluding with humans?" Heavenly Emperor coldly groaned and said. That fat old Heavenly Mother laughed sinisterly and said, "Youngster, if you are Imperial Sound Heavenly Mother's friend, then you came at a bad time. She has already been captured, and we want to take away her heavenly embryo. Now the expert who seized her heavenly embryo is sealing her. So long as the seal is complete, we will go in and help." Qin Yun faintly smiled and said, "Sorry, I was invited here to help transfer the heavenly embryo." He is extremely shocked in his heart. Imperial Sound Heavenly Mother has actually been plotted against. No wonder she has not shown herself in public these past few days. So, it is one of our own. That expert came from Primal Chaos world. Those heavenly men outside are all his research subjects. Heavenly Emperor said, "Imperial Sound Heavenly Mother is not easy to seal. This woman's heavenly embryo is too strange. It can allow her to erupt with very strong power. Luckily, there are experts from Primal Chaos race here. They can barely suppress her. Moreover, they did not cause any commotion." That fat old Heavenly Mother said. Qin Yun said, "Then let's go in and take a look. When my friend informed me to come here, he said that the situation here is very urgent. This place can be casually entered, and it was created by the people of Primal Chaos race. It can be seen that they are too confident, allowing people to enter and exit as they please." After saying that, Qin Yun walked toward the door. After he opened the door, he saw 5 old men surrounding a transparent crystal coffin. Inside the crystal coffin lies the Imperial Sound Heavenly Mother. She is wearing a set of purple gold heavenly armor and is currently struggling. Heavenly Emperor and Heavenly Mother, who are outside, did not follow them in. They truly felt that Qin Yun came to help. "You are a heavenly man sent by the heavenly law divine realm? Is it for us to study?" An old man said. Qin Yun laughed and said, "No, I am here to kill you." Just as he finished speaking, a powerful primal chaos cold power surged out, accompanied by a strong supergravity, pressing down on the 5 elders. Chapter 2158. After killing those primal chaos race elders, Qin Yun went to destroy their souls to prevent them from floating away and being reborn. Are these guys really from Primal Chaos race? Why do they look so weak? Dog deity said in low voice. Qin Yun arrived beside the crystal coffin and looked at the struggling Imperial Sound Heavenly Mother. Imperial Sound Heavenly Mother's eyes are blindfolded. She can't see what is happening outside. They're from Primal Chaos race, but they don't seem to be good at fighting. It seems like they are inscription masters and pill masters. Qin Yun carefully inspected the crystal coffin to prevent it from exploding. Dog deity is standing at the door to prevent people from coming in. Qin Yun's attack caused quite a commotion, but those two heavenly emperors and heavenly mothers did not come in. Clearly, they felt that this kind of commotion is very normal, so they were not alarmed. After careful inspection, Qin Yun confirmed that the crystal coffin did not have any exploding formation. He also roughly understood how to break the seal. He took out the floating cloud divine needle and opened his heavenly eye to look at the crystal coffin. He grabbed those fine runes and destroyed the key runes. This way, the crystal coffin can be opened. Boss, be careful. The woman inside is very violent. Dog deity said in low voice. Relax, I know her. Qin Yun laughed and opened the crystal coffin's lid. Imperial sound, Heavenly Mother's voice came out and furiously cursed. I will tear you to pieces. She was sealed inside, so her voice couldn't come out. Her hands and feet are tied up, but her body can still move. She frantically struggled and jumped, almost jumping out of the crystal coffin. Qin Yun promptly took off her blindfold. Imperial sound, Heavenly Mother's hair is in a mess. Her beautiful face is filled with anger. But after seeing Qin Yun, the anger on her face disappeared, and she let out a long sigh of relief. Palace King, you finally came. Imperial sound, Heavenly Mother also calmly lay down. Qin Yun very quickly removed the chains on her hands and feet. She also came out of the crystal coffin. Imperial sound, how could you be so careless? Qin Yun said with smile. Imperial sound, Heavenly Mother quickly tidied up her messy hair. Her flirtatious appearance has quite a different kind of charm. If you look carefully, you can see that she's a very good and charming woman. It's a long story. I really didn't expect that the chaotic clan would spend so much to capture me. The Heavenly Mother was very angry when she talked about this. Dog God is very astonished. He did not expect Qin Yun to have such a good relationship with the Imperial Sound Heavenly Mother. Heavenly Emperor and Heavenly Mother are outside. They are here to help Primal Chaos Race transfer your heavenly embryo. Qin Yun said, I know who those two fellows are. I'll go out and kill them. The Heavenly Mother quickly took out a purple gold divine universe sword. Can you do it? Qin Yun could not figure out the Heavenly Mother's cultivation level. Although the Imperial Sound Heavenly Mother had very strong divine power, it was impossible to determine her cultivation from the divine power aura. Of course. Palace King, you just wait here. Imperial Sound Heavenly Mother said and rushed out. After she rushed out, screams came from outside. After Qin Yun and Dog God went out, they saw that Heavenly Emperor Heavenly Mother has been chopped into pieces. The hall outside is drenched in blood. Their souls have also been destroyed by me. Heavenly Mother Imperial Sound said, This kind of trash is not my match. Qin Yun said to Dog God, Dog God, you go back first. Yes, sir. Dog God nodded and quickly left the old residence. Heavenly Mother Imperial Sound said, I came here to investigate the matter of the Heavenly Dao Tower. Since you are here, then the matter of the Heavenly Dao Tower must have been done by you. How long have you been captured? Qin Yun walked down and said with a smile. Although this place was drenched in blood, it did not affect the conversation between Qin Yun and Heavenly Mother Imperial Sound. It's been quite a long time. Those guys sealed me in that crystal coffin and always wanted to force me to release the heavenly embryo. Heavenly Mother Imperial Sound sneered. She did not know what had happened in the past few days, nor did she know that the Primal Chaos royal grandson had been killed outside the city. Qin Yun did not tell her much about these matters. He only asked about the situation of the Heavenly Law Divine Realm. How did the Heavenly Law Divine Realm get together with the Primal Chaos race? Qin Yun asked. It seems like their cooperation is very deep. Let's put it this way. The Heavenly Mother and Heavenly Emperor of the Heavenly Law Divine Realm are very eager to obtain the power that the Primal Chaos race controls. Therefore, the current Heavenly Law Divine Realm can be said to be the subordinates of the Primal Chaos race. Heavenly Mother Imperial Sound sighed. The powerful and prosperous heavenly law, divine realm of the past, no longer exists. Really? Qinyan said with some joy. Don't be happy too early. Although the heavenly law divine realm has declined greatly, some of the old fellows in the heavenly law divine realm have obtained the help of the primal chaos race and become extremely powerful because they have betrayed the heavenly law divine realm. Heavenly Mother Imperial Sound's face darkened. Palace King, don't think that just because the heavenly law divine realm has declined, you can tolerate it. It's easy to deal with. Qin Yun asked with some doubt. The primal chaos race's help to the heavenly law divine realm is actually that effective. Heavenly Mother Imperial Sound released flames to burn the corpses here and said, Nirvana of the heavenly Tao, but no one knows what will happen after Nirvana. Furthermore, I don't know when I'll be able to succeed in Nirvana. However, the upper echelons of the heavenly law divine realm could not wait any longer. So they handed the heavenly law divine realm over to the primal chaos clan. The heavenly law divine realm was betrayed just like that. Qinyan could not help but sigh. No wonder the heavenly emperor and heavenly mother of the heavenly law divine realm was so respectful to the chaos race. The reason why the primal chaos race controls the heavenly law divine domain is because they want to use it to infiltrate the entire divine wasteland. Of course, this is their long-term plan. The Heavenly Mother quickly burned all the corpses here and said, and the higher-ups of the natural law divine realm betrayed the natural law divine realm and obtained the primal chaos bloodline. Chaos bloodline. This was the first time Qin Yin had heard of such a bloodline. He was somewhat surprised and immediately associated it with the ancient desolate chaos race. What is that? Asked Qin Yin. Only a powerful chaos divine son can give birth to a kind of bloodline. Anyone who obtains this bloodline can become a member of the primal chaos race. The Imperial Sound Heavenly Mother said, Up until now, there are a total of 50 Heavenly Mothers and Heavenly Emperors who have obtained the primal chaos bloodline. Qin Yun said with a sneer, Previously, the natural law divine realm was in such a hurry to destroy the primal chaos divine son, but now it has submitted to the primal chaos race. The Imperial Sound Heavenly Mother had almost perished together with the chaos divine Sunday. Speaking of this matter, the Imperial Sound Heavenly Mother became angry. These bastards! The Imperial Sound Heavenly Mother slammed the table beside her. Imperial Sound, how much do you know about the primal chaos race? I have come into contact with them before, and they're not as powerful as I imagined. Qin Yin looked at the door and said, Those few old fellows were all killed by me. The Imperial Sound Heavenly Mother said, The interior of the primal chaos realm is rather complicated. It is like a very large world with all kinds of powerful primal chaos creatures. Their attitudes towards the divine wasteland are all different. Some of them came to the divine wasteland early in order to occupy a place. Have you heard of the primal chaos race's 8 kings and 1 emperor? Rumor has it that they are the rulers of the primal chaos race. Qin Yin said, Bullshit. Those 8 kings and 1 emperor can only be considered a third-rate primal chaos race. Within the primal chaos realm, the strength of the primal chaos race has a lot to do with the bloodline in their bodies. The Imperial Sound Heavenly Mother said, Their bloodline is divided into low, middle, high, top, and royal grade. Those 8 kings and 1 emperor, they should only be middle-grade primal chaos bloodline. Middle-grade primal chaos bloodline. Middle-grade primal chaos bloodline. Qin Yin now understands why the primal chaos race he met were so weak. It turns out that they are not the strongest of the primal chaos race. However, those 8 kings and 1 emperor boasted that they are the strongest in the primal chaos realm. High-grade primal chaos bloodline. I have seen it before. It is indeed very terrifying. The Imperial Sound Heavenly Mother said again, You have seen it? Where did you see it? Qin Yin asked. When I used the heavenly embryo, an old hag from the primal chaos race appeared. She is the same as me, a great god. However, I feel that her strength should be able to defeat the sacred deity. Speaking of this matter, the Imperial Sound Heavenly Mother is still somewhat afraid. Qin Yun's brows furrowed. This is only a high-grade primal chaos bloodline, yet it is already so powerful. I have a special heavenly embryo that allows me to obtain very powerful strength. Even the heavenly god, heavenly mother, heavenly emperor is not my match. However, when I faced that old hag, I did not even have the thought of resisting because I could not beat her. The Imperial Sound Heavenly Mother is very strong. Otherwise, she would not have been able to kill the heavenly god, heavenly mother by herself. That old hag from the primal chaos race attacked you? Was she the one who captured you? Qin Yun asked. No, she was just curious. She doesn't seem to have any ill intentions towards me. The Imperial Sound Heavenly Mother said with a frown. I chatted with her and found out that the stronger the primal chaos bloodline, the fewer the number of people in the primal chaos realm. Not many of such powerful people have come to the divine desolate. Qin Yun said, I suspect that because they are too strong, they will destroy space, so they will be restricted to the divine desolate. The Imperial Sound Heavenly Mother said, Qin Yun now has a rough understanding of the primal chaos race, and the heavenly law divine domain is still the source of chaos in the divine desolate. Behind the heavenly law divine domain, there is still the primal chaos race. What about the heavenly mother MOAI? Qin Yun asked. She obtained the primal chaos bloodline. Otherwise, I wouldn't have been forced to leave the heavenly law divine domain. She is targeting me everywhere in the heavenly law divine domain. She told you to investigate the matter of the heavenly law tower? Qin Yun can roughly guess. And she told me to come over and then contact the primal chaos race to capture me. I underestimated their underlings. I didn't expect them to dare to make a move in the Qin Yao royal city. The Imperial Sound Heavenly Mother said, Don't return to the heavenly law divine domain in the future. Qin Yun said, There's no need for that anymore. The Imperial Sound Heavenly Mother nodded and suddenly said with a charming smile, Palace King, I have a very special heavenly embryo. Do you want to try giving birth to a child with me? Chapter 2159. Qin Yun knows that this Imperial Sound Heavenly Mother is always fantasizing about giving birth to a child. She even has her eyes on him. Palace King, come. Logically speaking, as a man, you should like to do this kind of thing. Imperial Sound Heavenly Mother walked over and hugged Qin Yun's arm. She said with charming smile, I don't mind. What do you mind? There is blood everywhere here. There are corpses of a few old men in the room, and there are all kinds of dissected bodies in the courtyard. And this Imperial Sound Heavenly Mother wants to talk about romance in this kind of place. This place is not suitable. Besides, I have a wife. How about I take you to see her and let her give me some advice? Qin Yun suddenly thought of Xiao Yuelon. He felt that it would be best to let Xiao Yuelon deal with a little demoness like Imperial Sound Heavenly Mother. Imperial Sound Heavenly Mother said worriedly, Your wife will definitely stop you. You can't. Qin Yun pulled her hand and said with a smile, You don't know. She was the one who helped me find my little wife. It's just that I haven't seen my little wife many times. Shimin Chuqian was taken away by Xiao Yuelon. She has always been in the Guanghan Palace. She is an inscription master. All right then, Imperial Sound Heavenly Mother said with a smile. Just like this, Qin Yun left the old residence in the western part of the city with Imperial Sound Heavenly Mother and quickly returned to the Flower Moon Pavilion. Qin Yun quietly returned. He placed Imperial Sound Heavenly Mother inside the Nine Sun Divine Soul and then went to find Xiao Yuelon. Xiao Yuelon is currently cultivating, and she seems to be very serious. After Qin Yun arrived at Xiao Yuelon's secret room, she woke up from her cultivation. Yuelon, it's rare to see you so honest. Qin Yun said with mischievous smile. Honest Qin, I am your wife. Of course I am also an honest person. Xiao Yuelon said with charming smile. Where did you go to have fun? You have a woman's fragrance on your body and a strong smell of blood. You actually secretly went to find a woman and didn't even bring me along. Qin Yun gently caressed her face and said with smile, Yuan, what did you learn for the dog god? Your nose is so sharp. Quickly tell me, what did you do? Xiao Yuan asked curiously. Why is the smell of blood on your body so thick? Yuan, I'm going to prepare a gift for you. Qin Yun giggled and said, I want to give you a pleasant surprise. What gift? Xiao Yuan's curiosity was immediately piqued. Kiss me, and I will tell you, Qin Yun said with smile. Xiao Yuan kissed Qin Yun's lips and said with a smile, All right, quickly tell me, what gift is it? Qin Yun immediately released the imperial sound Heavenly Mother and said, Yuan, she's the Heavenly Mother of the Heavenly Law Divine Realm. Hello. After Heavenly Mother Imperial Sound saw Xiao Yuan, she immediately said politely. She is also stunned by Xiao Yuan's appearance. Heavenly Mother. Xiao Yuan opened her beautiful eyes wide and scanned the Heavenly Mother from head to toe. Although the Heavenly Mother of Imperial Sound was wearing a heavenly armor, she could tell that this Heavenly Mother had a hot figure. In addition, the Imperial Sound Heavenly Mother has a very tender and beautiful face, which made her very satisfied. Xiao Yuan is very bold. She directly went over and pried open the Imperial Sound Heavenly Mother's armor. Heavenly Mother Imperial Sound doesn't know what Xiao Yuan is up to, but she didn't resist. All right, you two properly talk. I will go find Sister Rujing. Qin Yun said with smile, and then left Xiao Yuan's room. Xian Rujing and Luiyue Shuyan are together. They are both strong gods of Myriad Realms' divine court. They are now discussing tactics. Inside a cultivation room, Xian Rujing and Luiyue Shuyan are discussing very seriously and solemnly. After Qin Yun arrived, they immediately stopped. Xiao Yun, you came at the right time. I will take this opportunity to pass on some insights of Nine Sun World Extermination Scripture to you. Luiyue Shuyan said with smile. Rujing is also very curious about Nine Sun World Extermination Scripture. She wants to understand it in passing. All right, Qin Yun nodded and said. Nine Sun World Extermination Scripture contains a very profound method of using divine power. If one can comprehend a thing or two from it, they will be able to increase their divine power. Qin Yun came to find Xian Rujing because he wants to pass on a god position to her. Qin Yun has already comprehended many things about Nine Sun World Extermination Scripture, but it is only his own comprehension. Luiyue Shuyan's comprehension of Nine Sun World Extermination Scripture is also a great inspiration to him. Nine Sun World Extermination Scripture mainly cultivates 3 tribulation, 6 calamity, and 9 annihilation. It is very difficult to completely master them. If one can master 1 tribulation, 1 calamity, and 1 annihilation, it will be very good. Luiyue Shuyan lightly sighed and said, Up until now, I have only mastered 1 annihilation power. Xian Rujing said, Even if it is only 1 annihilation power, it is already very strong. Sister Shuyan, when you were outside the city, that kind of world extermination power caused people to feel fear. Rujing, your ice and snow power is also a kind of power filled with calamity and annihilation. You should be able to comprehend something from Nine Sun World Extermination Scripture. Luiyue Shuyan said with smile. Then later, I hope Sister Shuyan will give me many pointers. Xian Rujing smiled sweetly. Xiaoyan, did you come to find me, or Rujing? Luiyue Shuyan's charming eyes are like silk. She said with charming smile. You came to find us. Qin Yun coughed dryly and said with smile. I came to find Sister Rujing. He finished speaking and took out a transparent pearl. There are many water droplets inside. Rain God's God position. Luiyue Shuyan said in amazement. I want to give it a try and pass on Rain God's God position to Sister Rujing. Qin Yun took out his divine King Heavenly Seal. Then he informed Xian Rujing and Luiyue Shuyan about how he passed on Rain God's God position to Shui Weiwei and other women. 2 God position. No one has ever tried this before. Luiyue Shuyan said with smile. Xiao Yun, if it succeeds, I also want another God position. Pass on Poison God's God position to me. All right, Qin Yun said with smile. He used Divine King Heavenly Seal to stamp on Rain God's God position and shot out a light beam that entered Xian Rujing's forehead. Rain God's God position is still in Qin Yun's hands, but Xian Rujing now has a new God position. She spread out her palms. One can see Rain God's God position, and the other is her Ice and Snow Goddess God position. Success, 2 God positions, Qin Yun said with smile. His Divine King Heavenly Seal needs to condense a certain amount of Heavenly Tao Divine Power before it can be passed on. Then he tried to pass on Poison God's God position to Lu Yushuyan. The process is very smooth. Lu Yushuyan also has 2 God positions, and the Primordial God position is still in Qin Yun's hands. What is going on here? Qin Yun looked at Divine King Heavenly Seal and said in surprise, I can pass on my God position without limit? Maybe even 3 God positions will do. Xian Rujing said, Xiao Yun, why don't you try using our God position to pass on? Indeed, I never tried it before. Come, give it a try. Qin Yun somewhat excitedly said. Killing God's God position is a black skull. Qin Yun placed Divine King Heavenly Seal on it, then shot out a black light beam through the skull and entered Xian Rujing's forehead. After Xian Rujing received it, she obtained a new killing God position. However, this God position is still very young. Rujing, you're also a killing God, a little killing God. You're now a 3 God position. Lu Yushuyan said with smile. Lu Yushuyan said with smile. Xiao Yun, I also want the Ice and Snow God position. Quickly pass it to me. My Divine King Heavenly Seal is out of power. Wait for me to replenish it. Qin Yun said with bitter smile. How can you replenish it? Do you need Sister Shuyin's help? Lu Yushuyan's charming eyes flickered with blurred, charming ripples. She gazed at Qin Yun and said with bewitching smile, Sister Shuyin and Sister Rujing will help you replenish it. How about it? Xian Rujing is also looking at Qin Yun with a kind of extremely flirtatious expression. Qin Yun deeply inhaled a mouthful of air, suppressed all kinds of thoughts, and said with smile, No need. I can do it myself. He has no choice but to quickly leave so that he doesn't fall into this trap. If he attracts Xiao Yuelon, it will be very bad. Xian Rujing and Lu Yushuyan are now familiarizing themselves with their new God position. Especially Xian Rujing. She has the killing God position. She can ask Lu Yushuyan to help her familiarize herself with it as soon as possible. Qin Yun is hiding inside a secret room and studying his Divine King Heavenly Seal. He has obtained Divine King Heavenly Seal for many years. When he was 9 Sun Palace King, he saw it. At that time, he participated in the refining of many God positions. Heaven Creation Divine Palace also participated. Those God positions ended up in the hands of Heaven Creation Divine Palace. Heaven Creation Divine Palace said that they will give them to 9 sons to strengthen. Qin Yun suspects that Divine King Heavenly Seal is the same as Divine Judge's Myriad Heaven's Divine Punishment Banner. It can obtain the power of Myriad Realms' Divine Sunday Xiao Yun. Maybe you can obtain all the God positions. You can use Sister Shuyin's killing God position to create a new God position for Sister Rujing. That means you can create all the God positions for yourself. Ling Yuner said, Wrong. I am a Divine King. My Divine King Heavenly Seal should contain all the God positions' power. Qin Yun looked at Divine King Heavenly Seal and said with smile, Divine King Heavenly Seal can directly create new God positions. However, I still don't know how to do it. He still needs to use Primordial God position to create new God positions. Quickly go find Sister Shuyin and Sister Rujing. Let them help you replenish Divine King Heavenly Seal's power. They are all very willing to help you. Ling Yin curled her lips and said, 2 beautiful women. You actually cast them aside. Qin Yun is fiddling with his Divine King Heavenly Seal. He is not paying attention to Ling Yin. Now he is thinking of many things. He feels that he can use many God positions to refine a very powerful dragon. Devil Star Tyrant Dragon has absorbed many formidable dragon bodies. That Divine Universe Thunder Dragon body is also in his hands. Back when I was the King of Gods, I lacked a powerful mount. Qin Yun said, That little girl Yang Yang is so cute. I can't let her be my mount. I can only refine one myself. Of course, this kind of matter has to be done slowly. He now plans to first use god positions to refine puppets. I will go find Dog God and the others, collect their god positions, and then talk. Qin Yun immediately took action. Lest Dog God and the others leave Qin Yao King City, it will be very difficult to find them later. Just as Qin Yun left his room, he saw Xiao Yuelon pulling Imperial Heavenly Mother over and yelled with smile. Xiao Yun, quickly have a child with little sister Imperial Yin. Lu Yu, Shu Yin, and Xian Rujing are in the cultivation room next door. After they heard this, they came out with puzzled expression. Qin Yun is startled. He promptly used mysterious penetration divine ability and escaped without a trace. He originally wanted Xiao Yuelon to kidnap Imperial Heavenly Mother and make her his female slave. He did not expect that she would be convinced by Imperial Heavenly Mother. Qin Yun is flying above Qin Yao King City. He wants to find Dog God, but he suddenly saw an old man wearing conical bamboo hat floating in front of him. Seeing this old man, Qin Yun almost shouted in fright. This old man is the nameless old man he met in Sacred Desolate Sun, Sacred Land. Chapter 2160. Senior, long time no see. How have you been recently? Qin Yun asked with smile. Not bad. It's just that someone impersonated my nameless god race and stirred up trouble everywhere, bringing a lot of hatred to our nameless god race. The nameless old man said with a smile, but that smile made Qin Yun's hair stand on end. Qin Yun said with a frown, I've heard of this matter. Previously, there was indeed a nameless god race guy who killed the primal chaos race's royal grandson. So it wasn't someone from the nameless god race. This guy is really bold. Not only did he offend the primal chaos race, he also offended the nameless god race. The nameless old man patted Qin Yun's shoulder and said with smile, Little friend, don't pretend. Others don't know, but I know that it was you who did it. Senior, you think too highly of me. Qin Yun said with smile, How could it be me? You really know how to joke. The nameless old man's expression sank and said solemnly, It seems like you still don't know the seriousness of the matter. I really didn't do it. Qin Yun already decided not to admit it even if he died. This mysterious nameless god race, who knows what they will do. It is also because they are in Medicine King City that Qin Yun is a lot more at ease and is not afraid of the nameless old man taking action. It really wasn't done by you? The nameless old man said with a puzzled expression. It's true. Qin Yun sighed and said, Why don't you believe me? The nameless old man did not continue to harp on a matter and said, Regardless of whether it was done by you or not, I want to tell you that the primal chaos race is not to be trifled with. The primal chaos race you met are not very strong. The truly powerful primal chaos race rarely show their faces. Qin Yun already heard about this matter from the Imperial Sound Heavenly Mother. Among the primal chaos race, different bloodlines have different strength. Then will the truly powerful primal chaos race appear in the Divine Desolate? Qin Yun asked. I can't say for sure. In short, there are more than 10 primal chaos divine sons in the primal chaos realm. Those primal chaos divine sons are also very powerful and can even devour the myriad realms' divine sons. The nameless old man said, You said before that after the royal grandson died, the matter would be very serious. Why do you say that? Qin Yun asked. They are flying in the sky towards the wild beheader manor. Qin Yun wants to find Dog God, and the nameless old man is following him. The nameless old man said, Our nameless god race has been researching the power to restrain the primal chaos race for many years and has made good progress. That's why the primal chaos race hates us and wants to kill us all. Now that a primal chaos being has been killed by a nameless god, do you think the truly powerful primal chaos beings will appear? Qin Yun also thought of this problem before. He said with a frown, I heard that there are not many of them. There aren't many of them, but they are very strong. You are all saint gods, but one of them can fight against 10 of you. If there is no power to restrain them, They're extremely terrifying existences. The nameless old man said, "Then I will pay more attention in the future." Qin Yun nodded. Fortunately, the appearance of the desolate gods has also led to the appearance of various powerful ancient clans. Therefore, the chaotic clan doesn't dare to be too arrogant in the desolate gods. The nameless old man looked at the two suns in the sky. At present, Qin Yun had only heard of the chaos race and the nameless celestial race. He never expected that there would be a very powerful race. What other powerful races are there? Qin Yun asked. When I was a palace king, I never heard of the primal chaos race and the nameless god race. Other than you, there are actually other powerful races? There is also the nether sun race, divine moon race, divine star race, divine heaven race, and nine nether race. Of course, this is only what I heard. As for whether or not they still exist, I don't know. In short, these races are all very strong. The nameless old man said, "What about your nameless god race? What kind of race is it? Why is it called the nameless god race?" Qin Yun is very curious about this. Back then, the Nine Suns created two races. One was the Nine Suns royal race. The other was the Nine Suns heavenly race, and we're the Nine Suns heavenly race. The nameless old man said. Qin Yun tried very hard to recall, because he had heard of this race before. Very quickly, he remembered that Muyu had once mentioned the Nine Suns heavenly race. The Nine Suns goddess and the Nine Suns heavenly race had a great relationship. The Nine Suns heavenly race would secretly help the Nine Suns royal race, but they would be restricted to a certain extent. Qin Yun said in shock, "The Nine Suns heavenly race is actually the nameless god race. I heard that only 100 or so of you are left. Is that true? That was many years ago. We now have tens of thousands of people. The Nine Suns heavenly race suffered many restrictions, making it very difficult for us to interfere with the operation of the Nine Suns and Nine Desolate. However, we have been observing the changes of the Nine Suns and Nine Desolate for many years and have gained a lot from it." Qin Yun brought the nameless old man to the wild beheader manor and entered a small house. "Senior, where does your Nine Suns heavenly race live?" Qin Yun wants to know more about this race. "We live in the Nine Suns heavenly realm and rarely come out. Our race has many experts that can fight against the primal chaos race. However, they can only go to the ancient desolate and cannot come to the divine desolate." The nameless old man saw that Qin Yun is deep in thought and said with smile, "Little friend, what are you thinking about?" Qin Yun said, "I am thinking, can the Nine Suns royal race really restore their bloodline? What kind of relationship do they have with your Nine Suns heavenly race?" The Nine Suns royal race was created by the Nine Suns to actively govern the Nine Desolate and control the nearby heavenly domains. However, who would have thought that there would be a problem later on? The nameless old man said, "If there's a problem, then it is the heavenly law divine domain that is causing destruction, right?" Qin Yun said, "The heavenly Tao that controls the heavenly law divine domain comes from the divine sky race. It could be said that it is the strongest race." The nameless old man said, "Divine sky race?" Qin Yun's heavenly eye flickered and said, "Can the heavenly Tao be reborn?" He thought of Muyu. Back then, Muyu said that she wanted to return home. He suspected that Muyu came from the divine sky race. What puzzled him is that the nameless old man said that there is also the divine moon race. He doesn't know what kind of relationship it has with Muyu. Now you know how complicated the situation is, right? The nameless old man chuckled and said, "Also, even if the Nine Suns royal race appears again, they will not be the strongest." Qin Yun curled his lips. He previously said that the Nine Suns royal race was the strongest race in the divine desolate. This nameless old man told him so much just to slap his face. "Why are you telling me this?" Qin Yun said, "There's so many strong races. So far, I have only seen the primal chaos race and your Nine Suns heavenly race." The nameless old man looked at Qin Yun. His deep old eyes emitted a kind of light that can penetrate one's soul. He said, "Don't you want to know about your own life?" Qin Yun naturally wanted to know, but he could not find an answer even after so many years. He smiled and said, I am a member of the Qin Imperial clan. He only looked at his current life and did not care about his previous life. The nameless old man said, To be honest, I am very curious about your life. I'm not talking about your current life. I am talking about the origin of your soul. It doesn't matter. In any case, no matter where I come from, I am now Qin Yun. Qin Yun said with a smile. The nameless old man suddenly made his move. He placed his palm on Qin Yun's abdomen and poured in an incomparably powerful mental power. What are you doing? Qin Yun's expression changed as he roared. Don't worry, I will check your divine, profound Tao image. The nameless old man is a sacred god, and he is from the Nine Suns heavenly race. He is naturally very powerful. In front of him, Qin Yun is like a little chick. He has no power to fight back. After checking, the nameless old man said with a blank expression, Your divine, profound Tao image is very chaotic. Qin Yun groaned. Without the other party's permission, you recklessly checked other people. If not for the fact that you are an old man, I would have already hammered you to death. Your little secret is not a secret at all. The nameless old man said with a smile, Back when I was in the sun's sacred land, I already more or less understood you. Qin Yun is very unhappy in his heart. His secret is still very important. Then tell me, what did you see? Why did you say that my divine, profound Tao image is very chaotic? Qin Yun asked. Your ninth divine, profound Tao image did not appear, but you have become a profound god. The nameless old man said with frown, This kind of thing is very strange. It is impossible. I have 9 divine, profound Tao images. Don't tell me you are not surprised? Qin Yun asked. There's nothing to be surprised about. Although there are many people like you in the ancient races, there are still quite a few. The nameless old man shook his head. He was thinking about Qin Yun's 9th divine, profound Tao image. Qin Yun did not disturb him and let him think. After a while, the nameless old man suddenly said, There might be another divine, profound Tao image hidden in your body. What and what? I know very well how many divine, profound Tao images I have. You have also checked just now. I only have 9 divine, profound Tao images, and the 9th divine, profound Tao image has not appeared. Qin Yun said, Generally speaking, only when the 10th divine, profound Tao image appears will it not appear. Your divine, profound Tao image that does not appear should be the 10th divine, profound Tao image. The nameless old man said, That's why I said that you are still hiding a divine, profound Tao image. Qin Yun is somewhat stupefied. His divine, profound Tao image was cultivated one by one. It was impossible for one to appear without him noticing. Impossible, although I cultivate the divine, profound Tao image rather quickly. There's a process. How could a divine, profound Tao image appear and not let me know? Qin Yun said with a frown, Senior, you must be mistaken. The nameless old man said with a shocked expression, Then there is only one possibility. That divine, profound Tao image was cultivated by you a long time ago, so you don't know about it. Is that so? Qin Yun rubbed his chin and said thoughtfully, If I had a divine, profound Tao image, I should know about it. Think about it again. The nameless old man said. After Qin Yun thought about it carefully, he was suddenly alarmed. He thought of Ling Yin in the illusory space of the spiritual world. Chapter 2161. The nameless old man looked at the silent Qin Yun and said in low voice, Little friend, did you remember something? Is there another divine, profound Tao image in your body? Qin Yun is certain that Ling Yun'er is his divine, profound Tao image, and it is a rather special one. Yes, I just don't know that it is a divine, profound Tao image. Qin Yun nodded and said, Senior, then what is going on with my 10th divine, profound Tao image? Why did it not appear? Qin Yun always felt that it is very strange. He asked Liu Shuyin, but she also doesn't know what is going on. I also don't know. I only heard of this kind of situation, and it is very rare. The nameless old man said, If it did not appear, then it must be the 10th divine, profound Tao image. The nameless old man actually doesn't know. This made Qin Yun even more curious, but he could do nothing about the 10th divine, profound Tao image. All right, it seems like I can only slowly cultivate it to find out what is going on. Qin Yin sighed. Little friend, this is a good thing. 10 divine, profound Tao images. That is very powerful. The nameless old man said with mischievous laugh. Of course, this will also make it difficult for you to grow up. In short, it will make you very slow. Qin Yin doesn't care. He feels that he will be able to grasp large amount of resources to help him break through even faster. Oh, that's right. Back at the Medicine King Plaza, was that little girl with you really your wife? The nameless old man asked. Indeed. What's wrong? Qin Yin said. She is Nine-Sun Divine Maiden. Do you know what Nine-Sun Divine Maiden means? The nameless old man said with a mysterious expression. What does it mean? Qin Yin promptly asked. Hee. Nine-Sun Divine Maiden are the 9 strongest women created by the 9 suns. They are very different and each have their own mission. They will be the strongest existences in the 9-sun heavenly domain, but they will have to experience many tribulations before they can completely mature. The nameless old man said, what relationship does 9-sun Divine Maiden have with other strong races? Qin Yin asked. Other strong races all want to obtain 9-sun Divine Maiden. As for why, I still don't know. In short, even my 9-sun heavenly clan wants to obtain 9-sun Divine Maiden. The nameless old man said. Hey, don't have any ideas about my wife. Qin Yin groaned. It's not what you think. Our 9 suns heavenly clan wants the 9 suns Divine Maiden. We want to invite her back to our clan to watch over our 9 suns heavenly clan. With the 9 suns Divine Maiden in our clan, we will receive the protection of the Divine Sun. There's such an ability? Why didn't I notice? Qin Yin stroked his chin. When he was with Xiao Yuan, she said that the 9-sun Divine Maiden would receive protection. The nameless old man said, that's because the 9-sun Divine Maiden has yet to reach her strongest realm. Senior, if I were to create a Chaos Divine Sun, would I be able to use its power to become stronger? Asked Qin Yin. Of course you can. Chaos Divine Power is still very useful. If you can really create a primal Divine Sun, then you will have enough confidence to face the other strong races. The nameless old man said. Qin Yin has already gathered enough materials. Now, he only needs to wait for Siekaru. With her help, he can begin creating Primal Divine Sunday. After that, Qin Yin asked the nameless old man about the creation of the Chaos Divine Sunday. The nameless old man is very willing to share his knowledge in this area with Qin Yin. Qin Yin's understanding of the Primal Divine Sun is rather low. Now, he knows a lot from a nameless old man. He also knows that the 9 suns were almost transformed into Primal Divine Sunday. However, because of other reasons, they did not transform and instead turned into 9 heavenly suns. Primal Divine Sun can give birth to primal chaos creatures, and the 9 heavenly suns also possess this ability. That's why the 9-sun royal family and 9-sun heavenly clan were born. As for the other strong races, most of them were created from this kind of naturally formed celestial body. The reason why the nameless old man's 9-sun heavenly clan wanted to create Primal Chaos Divine Sun was mainly to fight against the Primal Chaos race and other strong races. The power of Primal Divine Sun is very formidable. If one could suppress the Primal Chaos Divine Sun and create Primal Chaos creatures and absorb the Primal Chaos Divine Sun's divine power, then they would be able to grasp a very formidable power. Qin Yin benefited greatly from the exchange with the nameless old man. Now, he only needs to wait for the Primal Chaos Divine Sun to be created, and he can become even stronger. Even if he encounters a very strong Primal Chaos race person, he won't have to worry about not being able to defeat them. Senior, the big shots of the other Imperial race clans are all gathered together. Do you think they can reach an agreement to restore their bloodline together? Qin Yin said. Right now, Qin Yin needs to improve his body. If he could obtain the 9-sun royal family's bloodline, then his body would become even stronger. It should be possible. I have to say, the power you displayed before is indeed very astonishing. I almost believe that you truly possess a complete bloodline. The nameless old man said with smile. I have too many divine, profound Tao images. I've only cultivated one Xian God Dao vein, and my body can't withstand that Xian God power. Qin Yun said, I need the complete bloodline of the nine-son royal family to strengthen my body. The nameless old man chuckled and said, if it's only the nine-son royal family's bloodline, I'm afraid it's still not enough. You have 10 divine, profound Dao images, which means that you have 10 Xian God Dao veins. After I obtain the nine-son royal family's bloodline, my powerful body is unable to withstand it. Qin Yun is somewhat astonished. To be honest, I've seen all 7, 8, and 9 divine, profound Dao images. However, out of 100 of them, only 2 or 3 can survive. The nameless old man said, why? Qin Yun's heart is alarmed. Because their bodies aren't strong enough and can't withstand the formidable power, they're all smashed to pieces by the formidable power, their souls scattered, and they completely died. The nameless old man chuckled and said, most of the people who possess many divine, profound Dao images are from powerful races. Qin Yun said with a face full of fear, doesn't that mean I have to be careful in the future? Although many divine, profound Dao images can bring great power to people, there are also advantages and disadvantages, and the disadvantages are greater than the advantages. The nameless old man's expression became solemn. Even if you are very cautious, sometimes it's not up to you. If you can't control your power, it will directly explode and kill you. Qin Yun knows too little about the matter of many divine, profound Dao images. He thought it was a good thing, but now it seems that it is also filled with danger. Just one bloodline is not enough. You could try fusing with multiple heavenly race bloodlines. And this is also very difficult to do. The nameless old man said, after I return, I will do my best to help you obtain the bloodline of our 9-son heavenly race. Fused with multiple bloodlines? Qin Yun is somewhat astonished. The bloodlines of all the powerful races can make their bodies very strong. Moreover, these bloodlines can be obtained later on. The nameless old man said, of course, you must first obtain the 9-son bloodline as a foundation to avoid being corroded by other bloodlines. The nameless old man said before that there are many powerful races. It is indeed very difficult to obtain their bloodlines. Qin Yun said with a doubtful expression, Senior, do you have any purpose for helping me like this? Of course there is. But don't worry, my request will not be too excessive. I will return to the clan now and help you obtain bloodline. The nameless old man said. Qin Yun knows that the nameless old man must have some other thoughts. All right, then we will contact each other again. Qin Yun took out a soul-chasing talisman and handed it over. You can use this to find me. The nameless old man took the soul-chasing talisman, nodded and said, then I will take my leave first. We will meet again. Qin Yun sent off the nameless old man. At this time, Dog God also arrived. The Dog God's true self had come in person, and he had even brought his consciousness with him. Qin Yun made them wait for a day, wait for his divine king heavenly seal to recover its energy, then use their God positions to create new Dog God and Mind God positions. This move of his caused Mind God and Dog God to be extremely shocked, because these new God positions are only a bit weaker than their primordial God positions, but they can grow up in the future. You two go call Great Strength God and Ox God over. Tell them my identity. Qin Yun said. Dog God promptly used Divine Communication Talisman to contact Great Strength God and Ox God and told them to come to the Wild Beheader Manor. After they arrived, they signed a soul contract in a secret room, promising not to divulge Qin Yun's identity. Soon after, Dog God and Mind God told Ox God and Great Strength God about Qin Yun's identity as the King of Gods. Ox God and Great Strength God are only slightly startled after hearing this. They're not very surprised because they have already seen Qin Yun's strength. I knew that boss is not an ordinary person. Ox God laughed loudly and said, very good. We won't return to the Myriad Realms Divine Court in the future. We will follow boss. You two stay here for now. After a period of time, Evil God will also come. You two move in secret. When I need your help, I will find you. Qin Yun said. All right, I have already had enough of those bastards from the myriad realms' divine court. It is also good that we don't go back. We will have more freedom. Great strength, God said. Qin Zhangquang is an earth god. Moreover, he is a forthright person. He can chat with these few people very well. He very much welcomes them to stay here. After Qin Yin returned to Flower Moon Pavilion, he learned that Lu Yu Shuyin and Xiao Yuelon are preparing to leave Qin Yao Royal City. They still have the mission of 9 Sun Divine Maiden. As for what they want to do, it did not say. Qin Yun snatched back a piece of Divine Universe Golden Stone from Heavenly Emperor, Heavenly Mother. He wanted to give it to Lu Yu Shuyin, but she did not want it. Qin Yun is very reluctant to part with Xiao Yuelon, Lu Yu and Shuyin, but they have an important mission to complete. They have no choice but to leave. Before they left, they spent a sweet night with Qin Yun, and then left Qin Yao Royal City at daybreak. Xiao Yuelon also took away Imperial Sound Heavenly Mother. With Imperial Sound Heavenly Mother accompanying them, Qin Yun feels a lot more at ease. As for Nangong Shuru and the others, they are returning to Guanghan Palace with Qin Huayu. Star God and Xian Rujing are still at Flower Moon Pavilion. They will return to the Myriad Realms' divine court to find out their movements. Nighttime, Qin Yun, Xian Rujing, and Star God are at the top floor of Flower Moon Pavilion. They are looking at the many stars and the huge divine moon in the sky. Chapter 2162. After the seal on Star God's God position was lifted, she obtained even stronger power. She can even sense many stars and use them to set up formations in the sky. Every night, the Star God would cultivate on the top floor of the Flower Moon Pavilion. She absorbed a large amount of star energy to cultivate. While Star God is cultivating at the top floor of Flower Moon Pavilion, Xian Rujing pulled Qin Yun to a room. Sister Rujing, when will you return to Myriad Realms' divine palace? Qin Yun pulled Xian Rujing's hand. Myriad Realms' divine palace's great formation is formed by Myriad Realms' divine Sunday. I can become stronger, even faster inside Myriad Realms' divine palace. Xian Rujing hugged Qin Yun and said in low voice, Xiao Yun, I must become even stronger. Those primal chaos race are truly too strong. Qin Yun cannot continue cultivating. What he must do now is to comprehend and cultivate Xian divine Dao veins. Joint cultivation cannot allow him to quickly cultivate Xian divine Dao veins. Even if he cultivates it, his body won't be able to endure it. Are you going back with Sister Star God? Qin Yun asked. That demon spirit is also very reluctant to part with you. Xian Rujing said with gentle smile. She is now working very hard in cultivation. Her God position has been sealed for too long. Now that the seal has been lifted, she must quickly adapt to it. This snow goddess, who is as beautiful as jade, is also incomparably alluring. Qin Yun can't help but hug her tightly in his arms, caressing her beautiful face lovingly. After they kissed, Xian Rujing said with smile, Xiao Yun, don't you also want to cultivate spirit? Qin Yun nodded. Then I will help you. Xian Rujing finished speaking and released her ice snow fairies. These two fairies are both as beautiful and moving as Xian Rujing. Moreover, they each have their own charm. Xian Rujing has 2 fairies. She is cultivating together with Qin Yun through these 2 fairies. She is guiding Qin Yun to release the power within his body and condense the body of the fairies. Qin Yun wants to cultivate Ling Yuner. The power he will use is Nether Sun's power. Ling Yuner is considered a Nether Sun fairy. Using Nether Sun's power to cultivate her body is very suitable. Xian Rujing's 2 fairies have flesh and blood bodies. It can be said that they are exactly the same as Xian Rujing. Only they have a kind of special fairy power. Under Xian Rujing's control, these 2 spirits are cultivating Sun and Moonheart Sutra together with Qin Yun. They are guiding Qin Yun to use Nether Sun power and condense spirit seeds. It took him 3 days to make it. All right. Xian Rujing looked at the spirit seed and said with smile, later, as long as you continuously pour your power into it, you will be able to gradually cultivate a spirit body. Then you can transfer Yuner's consciousness inside. Xian Rujing took back the 2 beautiful fairies and put on her clothes. Qin Yun also stored the spirit seed into the nine-sun divine soul. Qin Yun and Xian Rujing walked out of the room and saw Star God sitting in the reception hall. I've been working hard on my cultivation these past few days. You two are having a good time. The Star God's pretty face was slightly resentful as she chuckled. Little sister Ice Snow, I didn't expect you to let your Ice Snow fairy come out to please little brother Xiao Yun. What nonsense are you talking about? I am helping Xiao Yun cultivate his spirit. Xian Rujing lightly groaned and pinched the Star God's charming face. Xian Rujing stuck out her tongue and said with smile, All right, let's quickly return to Myriad Realm's Divine Palace. Don't miss the Great Formation's power. Xian Rujing nodded. I will go look for Yalan. She is still in Jasper Flower Valley. The so-called power of the Great Formation was the descent of the Myriad World's divine suns. Every once in a while, it would be activated. The gods in the Myriad World's divine court could absorb the special divine sun energy to cultivate. Of course, one must have God position to absorb it. Xian Rujing left Flower Moon Pavilion and headed towards Qin Mansion. Qin Yun and Star God are waiting here. Little brother Xiao Yun, I will be leaving soon. I really can't bear to part with you. Star God's extremely charming jade-like face is filled with reluctance and worry. She is wearing a purple dress, giving her a kind of elegant and noble temperament. However, her purple dress is very thin, making her look even more charming and alluring. Big sister Star God, those nine sun sects have been chasing you for a long time. Are they still chasing you? Qin Yun asked. Of course they are chasing me. Those guys' altars were transformed into Star God altar by me. They still remember this matter. Star God smiled charmingly. But I'm not afraid of them. I am very strong now. The altars are in my hands, and you are being chased by them. I feel very apologetic. I will surely teach them a lesson. Qin Yun said. Star God promptly arrived beside Qin Yun, sat on his thigh, and said with smile, It's fine as long as they are in your hands. Those altars originally belonged to you. This charming and beautiful woman's eyes are now very clear. They are flickering with gentle ripples. They are filled with a kind of deep affection. Little brother Xiao Yun. Star God bit her lower lip and said in soft voice, Can you kiss me? Qin Yun did not reply, and Star God kissed him. After they kissed for a while, Star God is very satisfied. She giggled and said, Little sister Bing Xue will return soon. Qin Yun pinched her face and said, Big sister Star God, you can sense stars. Can you capture star spirits in front of you? Of course I can. How strong do you want star spirits? Star God asked. The stronger the better. Qin Yun wants to use star spirits to refine a formidable world extermination spirit. With world extermination spirit, it will be even easier to use nine-sun world extermination scripture. All right, next time we meet, remember to ask me. Star God smiled charmingly. Seeing such a delicate and sweet beauty, Qin Yun can't help but kiss her cherry-like lips. After a while, Xian Rujing and Xiang Yalan returned. They want to return to Myriad Realm's divine court together. Qin Yun escorted them to a large ship of Myriad Realm's divine court. After saying goodbye to them, he went to find Dog God. Dog God and the others know that Myriad Realm's divine court's great formation is about to open, but they don't want to go back. Even though Thunder God is under house arrest, their position is too low and they're discriminated against in Myriad Realm's divine court. They feel that staying in Qin Yao King City is better. Qin Yun took out a spirit-chasing talisman. It belongs to his father Qin Long, Divine Universe Ice Dragon, Immortal Desolate Dragon Emperor, Scarlet Sun Dragon Mother. They followed Imperial Dragon Clan to Qin Yao King City. Qin Yun wanted to find them for a long time. He waited until all the elders of Imperial Dragon Clan went to Qin Manor before coming out of the city. Divine Universe Ice Dragon, Qin Long, Scarlet Sun Dragon Mother, and Immortal Desolate Dragon Emperor are all inside a small building outside the city. They are all very happy after Qin Yun arrived. Brat, you finally came. We have been waiting for you for a long time. Qin Long laughed loudly and then patted Qin Yun's shoulder. How did you recover your nine-sun bloodline? Qin Yun laughed. He did not say it was fake. he only said with smile, "Dad, your fire dragon god doesn't seem to have any sense of existence. That is because I am low profile. I am now a heavenly god. Ordinary people are not my match." Qinlong laughed loudly and said, "Palace King, they have already discussed the matter of recovering bloodline. Now they're building the altar. When the time comes, we will all go and bleed." Divine Universe Ice Dragon said, "I should also be able to obtain the complete nine-sun bloodline." Although Divine Universe Ice Dragon was created by the Heavenly Law Divine Realm, his new body was cultivated in the Sun's sacred land. Ice Dragon, I found the Divine Universe Thunder Dragon Pearl. Do you think there are any more Divine Universe Dragon Pearls in the Heavenly Divine Desolate? Qin Yun asked. Divine Universe Ice Dragon said, "I don't know, but I can help you find them. Of course, it doesn't necessarily have to be the Divine Universe Dragon Pearl. The dragon pearls of other strong dragons are also fine." "Is it a dead dragon?" Qin Yun said. "Xiao Yun, if we know where to find it, we will immediately go look for it." Qin Long said, "I know that there is an ancient azure dragon's corpse somewhere. I will go look for it another day." Immortal Desolate Dragon Emperor said with smile, "Don't worry, leave this matter to us. We dragons are the best at finding this kind of thing." The reason why Immortal Desolate Dragon Emperor is called Dragon Duke by many dragons is mainly because he has the 9-dragon heavenly origin formation. Of course, he knows that Qin Yun is looking for the dragon pearls to set up an even stronger 9-dragon heavenly origin formation. Suddenly, Qinlong took out his sun-suppressing divine arrow. His sun-suppressing divine arrow is exploding with raging flames, and it is also trembling. "What's wrong?" Qin Yun asked. "The Nanyang Divine Palace is nearby," Qinlong said with a frown. This Nanyang Divine Palace should have gone to the starry sky. It actually came back. That Nanyang Divine Palace was originally passed down by Qin Yun back then. Only because of some reasons, he could not stay in the Nanyang heavenly domain anymore. So he went to the depths of the starry sky. Now that the Nanyang Divine Palace has returned, it is very likely that it is related to the heavenly Divine Desolate. Qin Yun took out his sun-suppressing divine arrow. The reaction is also very intense. As expected, the Nanyang Divine Palace has returned. Divine Universe Ice Dragon said, "Palace King, that Nanyang Divine Palace should be yours. Do you have any plans?" "I still don't know. The Nanyang Divine Palace has returned. It is very likely that it was summoned back by the Myriad Realm's Divine Sun." Qin Yun said, "If the person controlling the Nanyang Divine Palace is very strong, then I won't be able to take it back now." Qinlong snorted. "If they don't want to give it back, then we'll snatch it back." Qin Yun shook his head. "Let's figure out the situation first. Although the Nanyang Divine Palace was created by me, in the many epochs that followed, it received the protection of the 9 suns. It is no longer the Nanyang Divine Palace that I created back then." At this moment, the earth suddenly trembled slightly. Qin Yun and others immediately walked out and saw a super huge palace floating in the air. It looks like a flying island. The Nanyang Divine Palace returned from the starry sky. It actually directly came to Qin Yao King City. "This is the Nanyang Divine Palace? It's so big." Immortal Desolate Dragon Emperor exclaimed in admiration. The huge palace appeared in the air. It is dazzling with gold and jade, shining with light like the sun. It slowly floated over and erupted with a very strong aura, causing the earth to shake. This Nanyang Divine Palace is floating in the air near Qin Yao King City. All the big shots inside Qin Yao King City promptly left the city. Chapter 2163. The Emperor clans gathered together and decided to build an altar to restore the 9-sun royal family's bloodline. However, at this time, the Nanyang Divine Palace that has disappeared for many years suddenly appeared. The sudden appearance of the Nanyang Divine Palace shook all directions. Not long after the big shots of other factions left Qin Yao Royal City, they received this shocking news. As for why the Nanyang Divine Palace appeared and how powerful it is, they still don't know. They only know that this large island-like divine palace is definitely closely related to the myriad realms divine Sunday. Just like the Heaven Creation Divine Palace back then. Heaven Creation Divine Palace obtained formidable power through the myriad realms divine sun and also has great influence on the myriad realms divine court. It can be said that the Heaven Creation Divine Palace is the existence that supervises the myriad realms divine court. The divine judge also said before that he will invite the people of the Heaven Creation Divine Palace to investigate the matter of the Thunder God. I still don't know what has become of the 9 Yang Divine Palace, but no matter what, this divine palace has some relationship with me. I will go and understand it clearly. Qin Yun has very complicated feelings towards the 9 Yang Divine Palace. Back then he created this powerful 9 Yang Divine Palace, but later on, because of a disaster, he has not returned to this divine palace for many years. Now the 9 Yang Divine Palace has appeared. It has been remodeled and looks extremely powerful. Qin Yun looked at the divine palace and sighed with emotion in his heart. Then let's enter the city and ask about the situation. Divine Universe, Ice Dragon said. The 9 Yang Divine Palace that just appeared is now floating in the sky. No one has come out. Qin Yun returned to Qin Yao Royal City and headed towards Wild Beheader Villa. Dog God and others are here. They only know that a very large building has appeared. They don't know that it is the 9 Yang Divine Palace. Inside the Wild Beheader Villa, Qin Yun and others are floating in the sky above the medicine garden. They are looking at the huge divine palace outside the city to see if anyone will come out. That is the 9 Yang Divine Palace. Qin Yun said, "Is that so? Boss, I heard that this 9 Yang Divine Palace was created by you back then." Dog God said in low voice, But that was back then. I haven't returned for many epochs. The current 9 Yang Divine Palace has nothing to do with me." Qin Yun said, "How can it have nothing to do with you? If this divine palace still uses the name Divine Palace of 9 Yang, then this divine palace is yours." "Exactly. No matter what, the reputation of the 9 Yang Divine Palace was established by you back then. Otherwise, how could it have spread until now?" The Ox God said, "I heard that many of the totems within our deity positions were created by the 9 Yang Divine Palace back then. As for 9 Yang Divine Palace, they control a large number of runes. They must be your inheritance." Vigor God said. Qin Yun said, "Let's wait and see. I don't even know who is in control of the 9 Yang Divine Palace right now. If I can get the 9 Yang Divine Palace on the right track, it doesn't matter if I don't go back." Actually, he did not have much nostalgia for the 9 Yang Divine Palace. The most powerful thing about the 9 Yang Divine Palace were those mysterious runes. As for the runes of the 9 Yang Divine Palace, Qin Yun had basically mastered all of them. He had all the runes that the 9 Yang Divine Palace had. The 9 Yang Divine Palace might not have the runes that he had. It was not only Qin Yun and company. Many people in the city were floating in the air, looking at the huge temple and discussing it. Just then, Granny Qianghua arrived. Granny Qianghua's flying boat is very fast. It is rampaging around and almost hit people. But other people cannot say anything because the flying boat does not allow people to float in the air. Those people are flying too high. Even if they were hit, they deserve it. In Qin Yao King City, the height at which people fly is different from the height of flying magic tools. This is also to prevent collisions. After Granny Qianghua arrived, she saw Qin Yun and shouted, "Xiao Qin, quickly come with me." "Where to?" Qin Yun asked. "To the 9 Yang Divine Palace. 9 Yang Divine Palace's people want to see you. They want to confirm that you have 9 Sun bloodline." Granny Qianghua said. Qin Yun suddenly covered his heart and said, "Granny, my injuries are very serious. I can't go. Tell them that I am in seclusion healing. It is not convenient for me to go out." He does not have 9 Sun bloodline. This matter must not be exposed, otherwise the other imperial race clans would not join hands to create the altar. All right then, Granny Qianghua is not sure whether or not Qin Yun has 9 Sun bloodline. Qin Yun said that he does not have it, but Granny Qianghua thinks that he does. After Granny Qianghua left, Qin Yun finally breathed a sigh of relief. Not long after, they saw many people flying towards the huge divine palace, mainly the other big shots of the imperial race. They were invited to enter the divine palace. Even Qin Zhanquang went. Originally, Qin Zhanquang did not want to go, but Qin Yun asked him to investigate. Therefore, he listened to Qin Yun and ran over to see the situation inside. Qin Yun also asked Qin Zhanquang to bring Dog God with him. Dog God can discover even more things. In this aspect, Dog God is the best at investigating. Qin Yun is also not idle. He is cultivating the spirit inside, the floating cloud pagoda. He is constantly releasing Nether Sun's power and pouring it into the spirit seed, condensing the body of the spirit for Ling Yuner. The body of a spirit is very special. It can have flesh and blood, but can also transform into mental intent and hide in the illusory space. If he succeeds in cultivating this, Qin Yun also plans to help Little Ant Queen cultivate a spirit body. He once planned to let Ling Yuner fuse with Little Ant Queen, but later he found out that Ling Yuner is a mysterious spirit Dao image, so he decided not to act recklessly to avoid any problems. Ling Yuner is very concerned about Qin Yun's cultivating spirit. From time to time, she reminded Qin Yun to cultivate her body better, to have long legs and so on. Cultivating a spirit body requires a certain amount of time. After all, you are a god-level spirit. In the blink of an eye, a day passed. On this day, people in Medicine King Qin City all know that the huge divine palace is the Nine-Yang Divine Palace. And this news also spread among many factions of Divine Desolate. Many big cities know that the Nine-Yang Divine Palace has arrived in the vicinity of Medicine King Qin. Qin Zhanquang and Dog God came back at dawn. What surprised Qin Yun is that after they came back, they have changed a lot. This is mainly reflected in their divine power. Their divine power has become a lot stronger. What's going on? You guys have become a lot stronger. Qin Yun said in surprise. Hee, that's because we have God position. Those guys from Nine-Yang Divine Palace sensed our God position and let us go to a place to cultivate. We stayed there for a night, and our divine power became stronger. Dog God said. They also said that as long as you have God position, you can freely enter Nine-Yang Divine Palace, but the premise is that you sign a soul contract and don't destroy anything inside. Qin Zhanquang said. Old Qin, did they see your God position? Qin Yun asked. They saw it. Qin Zhanquang said. They saw my God position and let me and Brother Dog go in. Qin Yun is secretly happy. Qin Zhanquang's God position is a new God position created by him using divine, king, heavenly seal, and primitive earth god's God position. Nine-Yang Divine Palace did not discover that the God position is a new God position. Oh, that's right. What's going on with that Nine-Yang Divine Palace? Qin Yun asked. From what we know, this Nine-Yang Divine Palace wants to help the Emperor race build an altar to restore Nine-Sun bloodline. Nine-Yang Divine Palace's people also said that they want to gather Divine Inscription Palace, Heavenly Dan Palace, and Heaven Creation Divine Palace together. Will Divine Inscription Palace, Heavenly Dan Palace, and Heaven Creation Divine Palace listen to Nine-Yang Divine Palace? Qin Yun said with frown. It seems like Nine-Yang Divine Palace wants to establish a huge faction. If Nine-Yang Divine Palace has enough formidable power, it won't be a problem. Dog God said. Old Qin, call Granny Qianghua over. Tell her that I have an important matter to discuss with her. Qin Yun said. I can only ask those upper echelons. Xiao Qin, want to be fine if you entered Jasper Flower Valley with me? Qin Zhanquang laughed wildly. I am worried that the other big shots are all inside Jasper Flower Valley. Qin Yun shook his head. Qin Zhanquang immediately went to find Granny Qianghua. Granny Qianghua arrived very quickly and arrived at Wild Beheader Villa not long after. Qin Yun and Granny Qianghua entered a secret room. Granny, what did you talk about when you entered the Nine-Yang Divine Palace? Qin Yun asked. I heard that the Nine-Yang Divine Palace wants to help the imperial family recover their bloodline. Granny Qianghua nodded and said, Yes, they said that they will do their best to help us. With their help, we will be able to build that altar in about 10 days. 10 days? So fast. Qin Yun is somewhat happy and said with smile, "Then did they raise any conditions?" "Yes. It is he who wants us to select a portion of the outstanding disciples and send them to the Nine-Yang Divine Palace after we recover our bloodline. Of course, those disciples can return to the clan in the future." Granny Qianghua said, "That's not too much. The Nine-Yang Divine Palace has many good inheritances." Qin Yun nodded and said, "It seems like this Nine-Yang Divine Palace is quite righteous." Granny Qianghua said with smile, "Of course the Nine-Yang Divine Palace is righteous. Back then, the Palace King who founded the Nine-Yang Divine Palace fought against the evil forces of the heavenly law divine realm. Furthermore, most of the inheritances of the Nine-Yang Divine Palace were left behind by that Palace King. Qin Yun is the Nine-Yang Palace King. He naturally knows about this matter." "Oh, right. Who is the current big boss of the Nine-Yang Divine Palace? Have you seen her?" Qin Yun asked. "I have. She's a very young woman. She is very beautiful. I can't tell how strong she is." Granny Qianghua said. "She said that she is the manager of the Nine-Yang Divine Palace, and her name is Bai Si. She told us to call her Bai Si." "Bai Si? What a strange name. And it's even a woman?" Qin Yun stroked his chin and thought about the person surnamed Bai. He suddenly recalled that when he was the Palace King, the Divine Palace had a white tiger, a divine beast that protected the Divine Palace. This Bai Si is most likely the descendant of the white tiger. Then, how is the overall strength of the Nine-Yang Divine Palace? Qin Yun asked again. Chapter 2164. Qin Yun already had a preliminary understanding that the Nine-Yang Divine Palace that had returned from the starry sky was quite good. When he was in the Immortal Desolate, he met a group of people who were chased out by the Nine-Yang Divine Palace. Those people were very bad, and they even colluded with the Dark Royal race. "Granny, what do you think of the overall feeling of the Nine-Yang Divine Palace?" Qin Yun asked. "You want to enter the Nine-Yang Palace?" Granny Qianghua smiled and said, "Don't worry. With your qualifications, you will definitely be able to enter." Qin Yun said with a smile, "It's not that I want to go in, I just want to understand a little bit. I am, after all, a member of the Qin Imperial clan. After our Nine-Yang bloodline recovers, there will be a batch of youngsters entering the Nine-Yang Sacred Palace. I am worried that the Nine-Yang Sacred Palace will conspire against us." "That's right. This matter concerns the future of our Imperial clan. We must investigate the background of the Nine-Yang Divine Palace." Grandma Qianghua said, "Shao Qin, don't worry. There's so many old foxes in our Imperial family. They will definitely be able to ensure the safety of our young disciples." Although Qin Yun said that he did not want to enter the Nine-Yang Divine Palace, he was once the Palace King of the Nine-Yang Divine Palace. He had deep feelings for the Nine-Yang Divine Palace. In the depths of his soul, there were many memories regarding the Nine-Yang Divine Palace. He still wanted to go in and take a look. "Granny, what's the rough process of the Myriad Realms Divine Sun helping us restore our bloodline?" asked Qin Yun. "We don't know the process, but the White Commander of the Nine-Yang Divine Palace said that as long as the altar is constructed and successfully activated, all the Emperor clan members under the Myriad Realms Divine Sun will be able to recover their Nine-Yang royal family bloodline." Granny Jade Flower said, "In that case, I can also recover in this villa," said Qin Yun with a smile. It was similar to what he had guessed. There was no need to be by the altar. This meant that even Qi Meiyan, Shao Xin Qin, and Yuan Yinying, who were in the divine moon of the heavens, would be able to obtain a powerful Nine-Yang bloodline. "Yes. However, we don't know the specifics. According to White Commander, the Nine-Sun royal family's bloodline is different," Grandma Jade Flower said. Qin Yun recalled that the Chaos race's Chaos bloodline was also divided into different grades. Back then, the Nine-Yang royal family's bloodline was more or less the same. There was no difference between them. Then what are the factors that determine whether the restored bloodline is good or bad? Qin Yun was very puzzled about this. "I don't know. We'll have to wait until we recover before we have a rough understanding. It won't be long. We will know in 10 days. Grandma Qianghua said. Granny, I don't want to see those old fellows. I won't see them for now. Qin Yin said, to be honest, I don't have the bloodline of the nine-son royal family. The reason why I'm so strong is because I used a forbidden secret technique. Grandma Qianghua nodded and said with a smile, well, if you don't want to see him, then don't. I will protect you. Thank you, Granny, for understanding. Qin Yin said with a smile. I'll return to Jasper Flower Valley first. If you need anything, tell Zhang Kuang to find me. Grandma Jasper Flower said. Qin Yin sent Granny Qianghua out and finally felt relieved. The Nine-Yang Divine Palace did not turn bad and was still the same as before. Now, Qin Yin was looking forward to seeing how strong his body would be after he fully recovered his bloodline. If his physical body was greatly improved, then he could continue to open the profound God Dao Meridian. At night, Qin Yin will cultivate his fairy body. During the day, he will stroll around the city, buy some materials, or buy some good divine talisman papers. After the formation of the Divine Desolate, there are even more divine tier materials. Qin Yin previously robbed the Heavenly Mother, Heavenly Emperor, and Poison God, so he has more than 3 billion Sun God crystals in his hands. Those Sun God crystals are mainly Sun God crystal cards. If you want to exchange for Sun God crystals, you can go to the Divine Crystal Bank in the various divine cities. They are all built by the Myriad Realms Divine Court. If you want to exchange for a large amount of Sun God crystals, you need to make an appointment in advance and let the Divine Crystal Bank prepare. Qin Yin doesn't need ready-made Sun God crystals, so he can directly use the God Crystal card. He and Dog God's clone are in a large market in the city. They want to buy some special divine tier materials. Those materials are all used to refine tools. Qin Yin plans to modify the Nine Heavens Dragon Lion Cannon into an even stronger pistol. Furthermore, he feels that every time he fires a bullet, it is a waste. Therefore, he plans to refine an even more powerful bullet that can be used repeatedly. For example, the bullet is very sharp and refined with very good divine tier materials. It can easily break through the shields of all kinds of divine armors. After piercing through the divine armor, it can return to the gun through a special reaction. As for those one-time use bullets, although they are very powerful, they are refined with a lot of precious materials. Once they explode, they are gone. Therefore, he feels that if he wants to use precious materials, he might as well seriously make a bullet that can be used repeatedly. However, this involves many aspects. Not to mention the strength of the materials, a small bullet needs to be engraved with many complicated runes. For a bullet to break through a divine armor shield and pierce through the divine armor, just the sturdiness of the material and the bullet's speed are not enough. It also requires the bullet to have a certain special ability. This requires the bullet to be engraved with many kinds of runes to break through different kinds of shields and penetrate different kinds of divine armors. Furthermore, the bullet must have a strong enough perception and a very large and stable space to store energy inside. This way, after the bullet flies out, it can sense itself and consume the energy inside to fly back. Apart from this, Qin Yin also wants to refine many of these bullets that can be recycled. This way, he can fire many bullets in one shot and use them to form a killing formation or something. It will also have a very good effect. These past few days, Qin Yin has been staying inside the secret room and fiddling with these things. It can be said that this is a very powerful, great killing tool. Naturally, it looks very small. After being modified, it is no longer called Nine Heavens Dragon Lion Cannon. It is now called God King Spear. This God King Spear is white and very beautiful. It can be held with one hand and has many storage spaces inside. Each of these storage spaces has different kinds of bullets or sun flame liquid. When needed, this pistol can release a large amount of sun flame liquid and shoot out fierce flame. When I have time in the future, I will make some more bullets. Qin Yin played with the white pistol and felt very satisfied in his heart. This pistol can be considered a rather strange thing in the heavens divine desolate. If he takes it out, no one will know what it is, and there is no way to guard against it. And as long as Qin Yin fires a shot, the opponent will not be able to dodge in time, and their dog head will most likely explode. Back then, he had traveled to that blue planet. There were many guns there. In that place, there was also something called cell phone. That is why he, immortal King Fu Yun, created the Devil Mirror in the Immortal Desolate. It was also a copy of that cell phone. Later on, he died before he could make it, but his disciple Devil Mirror Immortal Emperor made it. Heaven's Divine Desolate does not have something like Devil Mirror. This makes Qin Yin feel very inconvenient and also very difficult to make. Unless he can control the space here or has a certain understanding of Myriad Realms' Divine Sun and Myriad Heaven's Divine Moon, he can use these two huge celestial bodies to quickly transmit information. In the blink of an eye, more than 10 days passed. At the center of the Qin mansion, a circular altar appeared. No one is allowed to approach the surroundings of the Qin mansion. Only Imperial clan disciples are present. Nanyang Divine Palace also sent many people to patrol the surroundings to prevent other factions from causing trouble. One must know that other factions do not want the Nine Sun royal family to appear. And now, the Nine Sun royal family has reappeared in the Divine Desolate. This is an unstoppable force. Adding the appearance of Nanyang Divine Palace, there is no longer any faction that can stop the Imperial clan from restoring their bloodline. The altar is like a huge pillar. It is erected at the center of the Qin mansion. The Imperial clan's 9 clans have the most people. Now they are all beside the altar. The altar is placed in a very large pit. The pit is used to store blood. The pit is connected to many wide canals. Many canals crisscrossed within the Qin mansion. And the Imperial clan people and dragons are beside those dried-up canals. Just as the sky brightened, a bell rang, and the Imperial clan disciples began to bleed. A large amount of blood flowed through more than 10 canals and into the pit where the altar is located, soaking it. An incomparably intense blood energy suddenly rushed into the sky. The entire Qin Medicine Royal City is immediately enveloped by dense blood energy. The runes on the surface of the altar are flowing with blood. Qin Yun followed Qin Zhanquang and quietly sneaked into the Qin mansion. He followed beside Qin Zhanquang to bleed. There are a lot of disciples from the 9 powerful clans of the Imperial clan. In total, there are more than 1 million. A large number of disciples from the Imperial clan are waiting outside the Qin mansion. They are all carried out in batches, continuously letting out blood. The altar is absorbing the blood very quickly, ensuring that the altar is soaked in blood until noon. Batch after batch of disciples from the Imperial clan took turns to go into battle. After letting out enough blood, they retreated to rest. After recovering, they would begin again. Inside and outside the Qin Medicine Royal City, there are many people waiting. The spies of the various powers are all paying close attention, especially the Primal Chaos race, Heavenly Law Divine Realm, and 9 Suns Sex. They are all rather afraid of the 9 Suns royal family. At noon, the altar is no longer absorbing blood. At the top of the altar, an intense red light suddenly surged out and shot towards the largest Myriad Realms Divine Sun in the sky. After the Myriad Realms Divine Sun absorbed the blood energy that soared to the sky, it suddenly exploded with an intense golden light. In that instant, all the disciples of the Imperial clan in the Qin mansion burst into cheers. The entire Qin Medicine Royal City seems to be boiling. It can be seen that all the people or dragons with the bloodline of the Imperial clan are surging with powerful energy. Roar, roar, roar. Waves of dragon roars rang out. After obtaining the 9 Suns bloodline, the dragons of the Imperial Dragon clan became even stronger. At this moment, the group of dragons had all turned into huge, flying dragons, coiling around the Qin Medicine Royal City. Chapter 2165. Qin Yin also felt that the blood in his body suddenly became incomparably scorching hot, as if it wants to melt his flesh and bones. Although he feels somewhat uncomfortable, Qin Yin is still very happy because his flesh and bones are being soaked in scalding hot and powerful blood. They're becoming stronger very quickly. What made Qin Yin puzzled is that other people don't seem to be in pain. What's going on? Could it be that I am an exception? Qin Yun is somewhat puzzled. Furthermore, he suddenly felt that his 9-sun divine vein is like 9 dragons swimming around in his body. This caused him to feel incomparably uncomfortable, because this kind of feeling is like 9 incomparably scorching hot thorns are drilling inside his body and even drilling into his bones. Even his head is affected. This won't do. I need to quickly find a place. Qin Yun promptly left the Qin mansion and returned to Wild Beheader Villa. He hastily arrived at a secret room, unleashed Heaven's Might Tyrant Body, and operated 9 Extinction Divine Body technique. Qin Yun looked at his nether sun. It is crazily revolving and continuously spewing out energy to attack his body. The power of 9-sun bloodline is truly terrifying. Qin Yun only felt that his entire body is about to melt. This was mainly because his blood had suddenly become very powerful. He felt that if his blood dripped out, it would definitely be able to ignite a large forest. It is as dreadful as the sun flame liquid. Now, Qin Yun finally understood why Yang Yang can casually drink the sun flame liquid. It is because her body is strong enough that she is not afraid of the sun flame liquid. Thinking of this, Qin Yun took out the small black bottle and drank a mouthful of the sun flame liquid. Pah! So disgusting. Qin Yun couldn't bear it after drinking a mouthful. It is not that he can't bear it, but the taste is not good at all. He can't understand how a little foodie like Yang Yang can drink such a disgusting thing. The power of his bloodline is rapidly improving Qin Yun's body. Qin Yun also felt that his 9-sun divine vein has become incomparably active. He suspected that the reason why he is feeling so uncomfortable is because of the 9-sun divine vein, which can absorb a large amount of bloodline power. My bloodline might be stronger than others. Qin Yun thought in his heart. Qin Yun is silently cultivating in the cultivation room. He is operating 9 Extinction Heart Sutra to refine the bloodline power. That was the power bestowed by the divine sun of the myriad realms. It could make one's physical body stronger and make it easier to absorb the power of the divine sun of the myriad realms. In the past 3 days, the entire Medicine Qin royal city was in a frenzy of celebration. All the members of the emperor clans were extremely excited about recovering their royal bloodline. This time, those who could recover their bloodlines had become the new 9 Suns royal tribe. They were exceptionally precious and did not want to lose such a powerful bloodline. Therefore, they had to unite. They would also fulfill their promise and select disciples to be sent to the 9 Yang Divine Palace. As for how the new 9 Yang royal family would unite, that would depend on how the older generations discussed it. In short, the first thing they did after recovering their bloodlines was to sign a soul contract with the big shots. The main content of the contract was that when one side was in trouble, all sides would come to help. In this way, everyone could fight against the enemy together. Over the past 3 days, some people had completely fused with their bloodlines on the first day, obtaining great power. Some people needed 2 or 3 days to completely fuse with it. Most people completed the fusion within 3 days. Only a small portion of people were still in seclusion after 3 days. These people all had very powerful bloodlines. 5 days passed. In the sky above a courtyard in the Qin Manor, 9-colored divine light suddenly appeared. Furthermore, the divine light turned into a dragon. It was an Emperor Dragon Clan disciple who had just fused with his bloodline. 5 days later, 9-colored divine light would appear in the sky above the Qin Manor from time to time. This meant that these people's bloodlines were very powerful. Young, middle-aged, and old people all wanted it. This kind of phenomenon only appeared more than 2,000 times. This meant that only 2,000 people possessed the powerful 9-Sun royal tribe bloodline. On the 10th day after the altar was opened, many elders floated in the sky above the Qin Manor, waiting for the phenomenon to appear. Those who appeared on the 10th day definitely had a stronger bloodline. And on the 10th day, there were only a few dozen people. Almost all of them came out of seclusion. Grandma Qianghua said, "It seems like the later they fuse with their bloodline, the stronger their bloodline power. We still have to gather them and carefully study the specific situation." King Qinhua said, All right, what about that kid Qin Fei? Medicine King Qin looked at Grandma Qianghua and said, "Is his injury still not healed?" "Not yet." Grandma Qianghua also doesn't know where Qin Yun is. She went to the Wild Beheader Villa before, but she couldn't find Qin Yun. Qin Yun is in a secret room deep under the Wild Beheader Villa. 10 days have passed, and he is still cultivating. The reason why he drilled into the ground is because he feels that it is better underground. He can use the treasure land of Qin Yao, Royal City, to absorb myriad realms' divine sun power. In the depths of Medicine King City, many divine sun power secretly rushed into Wild Beheader Manor and entered Qin Yun's body. Qin Yun doesn't know when it will end, because he can feel that the powerful bloodline inside his body is very hungry. It is constantly devouring the power of myriad realms' divine Sunday. That's why he went deep underground. This way he can better and faster absorb the power. Qin Zhangquang used 8 days to fuse and refine the bloodline power. He was also summoned to the Qin Manor. Nine Sun Divine Palace sent many people to research the new Nine Sun bloodline. Qin Yun cultivated in pain. Unknowingly, more than a month passed by. He can feel that the pain on his body is gradually lessening, and everything inside his body is like it has been reborn. Whether his bones, muscles, or internal organs, they have all been melted by the powerful bloodline and reformed into even more powerful ones. Deep underground, Qin Yun looked at his own heart. The biggest change is his heart. His heart is like a very small myriad realms divine sun. It is beating very normally inside his heart. My sun heart has become like this. Qin Yun is secretly shocked. He promptly took out the sun-suppressing divine arrow. His sun-suppressing divine arrow has also changed greatly. Originally, it was black, but now it has turned light gold. Moreover, there are 9 dragons coiling around it. The 9 dragon carvings have 9 different colors and can release 9 colored light aura. Restoring 9 sun bloodline, the effect is really good. Qin Yun is secretly happy, then left the deep underground and came to the surface. He did not see Qin Zhangquang, and all the divine flowers here have already been harvested. It seems like I have been in seclusion for more than a month. Old Qin doesn't want this medicine garden anymore. Qin Yun hastily took a bath and changed into a set of clean white clothes. Dog God! Qin Yun yelled. Dog God has always been here. He also knows that Qin Yun is in the Wild Beheader Manor. The fatty promptly ran out of the house and yelled, "Boss, you finally appeared. Dog God, where is old Qin?" Qin Yun asked. He also wants to see Qin Zhangquang's current situation. He should have gone to the 9 Sun Divine Palace. Dog God said with smile, and then informed Qin Yun about the recent situation. Qin Yun immediately learned that after the altar opened, those who needed more than 7 days to refine their bloodline have all been summoned to the 9 Sun Divine Palace. The longest time is around 12 to 13 days. Boss, don't tell me it took you a month? Dog God said in amazement. Then why didn't I see the 9-colored phenomenon? My situation is rather special. Qin Yun is also very suspicious. According to reason, his 9-colored phenomenon should be very big, but Dog God did not see it at all. Therefore, he is even more anxious to find someone who has recovered their bloodline to compare. Oh, that's right. Miss Yu has also returned. She came to find you. I heard from her that it took her 15 days to fuse and refine her bloodline. Dog God said. Did she fuse and refine it in the Guanghan Palace? Qin Yun asked. She is very strong. This little girl is only a profound god, but I am not her match. Your 9-son royal family is truly dreadful. Dog God exclaimed in admiration. Dog Deity kept staring at Qin Yun's forehead. Boss, why is there nothing on your forehead? Dog God said. Qin Yun rubbed his forehead and said, why do I need something? Dog God said, old Qin has a 9-colored flame mark on his forehead. It looks like a small ball of flame. He said it is 9 Sun Divine Mark, a mark bestowed by myriad realms divine sun. Qin Yun took out a mirror and looked at himself. Then he kept rubbing his forehead and said, Motherfucker, I don't have it. Then am I not from Nine Sun royal family or not? Boss, all the people I met from Nine Sun royal family have this mark. Lady Huayu and the three brothers have it. Boss, have you recovered your Nine Sun bloodline or not? Dog God said with doubtful expression. Of course I have recovered. Qin Yin can sense that his body has improved greatly. But why doesn't he have Nine Sun divine mark? Did old Qin tell you the use of Nine Sun divine mark? Qin Yun asked. He didn't say, but it must have some use. Boss, are you all right? Dog God said. Dog God is very worried because Qin Yun's situation is very special. Qin Yun thought about how his heart has become like Myriad Realm's divine sun and immediately felt relieved. But he still wants to confirm the specific situation. He also wants to know whether or not other Emperor race people's hearts have changed after recovering their bloodline. He took out the spirit-chasing talisman to find Qin Long is the same as him. He has sun-suppressing divine arrow. In order to use sun-suppressing divine arrow, he also cultivated sun core. After he arrived outside the city, he discovered that the spirit-chasing talisman is pointing towards Nine Sun Divine Palace. Let's wait for Dad to come out. Qin Yin put away the spirit-chasing talisman and was about to return to the city when he saw a white-robed old man wearing bamboo hat flying over. Senior, Qin Yun yelled in pleasant surprise. This old man is precisely the nameless old man. I have been waiting for you for several days. You finally came out of the city. You are truly awesome. Even I don't dare to enter the city, the nameless old man said. Chapter 2166. Restricted Approach? Senior, you can't enter the Medicine King city? Qin Yun is somewhat shocked. Then he looked at the Myriad Realm's divine sun in the sky. The nameless old man said, I can enter, but I will have to pay a great price. Maybe I will even be punished by the Myriad Realm's divine sun. Qin Yun and the nameless old man arrived outside the city, found a quiet place, and took out the floating cloud pagoda. They entered the floating cloud pagoda and started talking business. Senior, didn't you say that you would do your best to help me obtain the Nine Sun heavenly race bloodline? Qin Yun said. Did you get it? The nameless old man laughed awkwardly and said, I didn't get it, but I will definitely get it. It's just that you have to express your sincerity first. I already have the bloodline of the Nine Sun royal family, and it's very powerful. How much can your Nine Sun heavenly race bloodline improve my body? Qin Yun is somewhat doubtful about this. If he were to fuse with the Nine Sun heavenly race bloodline, his body would not improve, and there would even be conflicts. Wouldn't that be a huge loss for him? The nameless old man chuckled and said, Little friend, don't tell me you think that having the Nine Sun royal family bloodline is enough. Qin Yun indeed felt this way because after recovering the Nine Sun royal family bloodline, the improvement of his body is very obvious, and it is much stronger than before. That's right. My current body is enough to bear the burden of opening Tenxian Gadao veins. Qin Yun said with certainty. Every time he opened a Xian God Dao vein, a powerful force would flow into his body through the Dao vein. If his body was not strong enough, his body would be torn apart by that power. The nameless old man shook his head and smiled. You have only opened one Xian God Dao vein now. When you open two more, you won't be able to say that. Little friend, your situation is different from others. Even if you don't have 10 divine, profound Dao images and only have 6, you won't be able to bear it. Why? Qin Yun said with a frown. Xiao Yuelon and the others all have 6 divine, profound Dao images, but they are completely fine. Because your single divine, profound Dao image is very strong, so the Xian God Dao veins you opened are also very strong. The nameless old man smiled and said, If you don't believe me, it's up to you. Qin Yun thought about it carefully. Previously, he had only opened one Xian God Dao meridian, and his body had already reached its limit. If he had 2 profound God Dao veins, the divine power that erupted from him would definitely be even stronger. Then how do you want me to express my sincerity? Qin Yun was also persuaded by the nameless old man. He planned on fusing with the Nine Suns' heavenly race's bloodline. I want 2 divine universe goldstones first. After I give you the 9 suns, heavenly races, bloodline, divine source, you can give me 8 more," said the nameless old man. Qin Yun was slightly alarmed. He thought that this nameless old man had more divine universe metal stones in his hands. He never expected that he would be so lacking in them. "This is a bit much, but this is the price," the nameless old man said. "The 2 divine universe golden stone you gave me now, I used them to bribe them. Otherwise, I wouldn't be able to get my hands on the bloodline divine source." "How did you know that I have the divine universe goldstone?" asked Qin Yun. "Ha ha. Those 2 heavenly mother, heavenly emperors previously snatched the divine universe golden stone of the death god, but they were all finished off by you. I think that their divine universe golden stone should be in your hands." The nameless old man chuckled. The nameless old man was also present at the scene at that time. He saw Qin Yun take away the heavenly emperor, heavenly mother's storage magic tool. Qin Yun deliberately put on a very pained expression and took out 2 very small divine universe goldstone and said, "Here, but you have to sign a soul contract with me. I am too honest and have been tricked many times before. With a soul contract, I can be more at ease." The nameless old man secretly despised Qin Yun. He is actually so shameless to say that he is honest. After signing the soul contract, both Qin Yun and the nameless old man revealed a smile. "Senior, after they recovered their 9-son royal family bloodline, they all have some 9-son divine mark on their forehead, but I don't." Qin Yun pointed at his forehead. "This is a normal phenomenon. There is nothing strange about it," the nameless old man said. "What is a normal phenomenon? Those who possess 9-son royal family bloodline all have 9-son divine mark, right?" Qin Yun is still very doubtful. "Let's put it this way. The reason why you don't have it is because you haven't completely obtained the approval of the myriad realms' divine son," the nameless old man said. "What do you mean? Why haven't I obtained the approval?" Qin Yun feels even more baffled and said, "But I clearly possess a powerful body through the 9-son royal family bloodline. Not only that, he has also cultivated an even stronger divine son heart. His sun-suppressing divine arrow has also undergone a great transformation. After people with 9-son divine mark die, their soul will fly to the myriad realms divine sun and then go through reincarnation within the myriad realms divine sun. You don't have 9-son divine mark. It means that after you die, your soul will not fly to the myriad realms divine sun." The nameless old man said, "There is another possibility. Your soul already belongs to someone else." Qin Yun's expression is filled with amazement as he said, "There is such a situation? Then after I die, where does my soul usually go?" "Didn't you die a few times already?" the nameless old man said with a smile. "Why are you asking me? Why don't you die again?" "I seem to have gone to the 9 nether realm before. Isn't it very normal to go to the 9 nether realm?" Qin Yun said, "Then maybe you were like that before, but not now. If you die again, your soul will not go to the 9 nether realm." The nameless old man said, "Don't worry about it. It doesn't matter if I don't have 9-son divine mark, as long as I obtain the power of bloodline." Qin Yun looked at the nameless old man's forehead and said, "Does your 9-son heavenly race have something like 9-son divine mark?" "Of course we do, but my 9-son divine mark is not on my forehead. Moreover, it is somewhat different from the 9-son royal families," the nameless old man said with a smile. "So you also have it? Quickly let me see." Qin Yun is somewhat surprised and promptly said with a smile, "Do you really want to see it? It's on my butt," the nameless old man said with a mischievous smile. He already turned around to take off his pants. "Fuck your grandpa." Qin Yun promptly kicked him. "You wanted to see it yourself. Why did you kick me?" The nameless old man dodged. "Why do your 9-son divine marks grow on your butt?" Qin Yun curled his lips and said, "Our 9-son divine marks are like birthmarks. They grow randomly. And those of you who recovered your 9-son bloodline have a fixed location. They all grow on your forehead. Maybe Myriad Realms' divine son thought that it would make it easier for you to be recognized in the divine desolate," the nameless old man said. Qin Yun looked at the 9-son divine palace and said, that divine palace suddenly appeared and even helped us recover our bloodline. Is this the intention of myriad realms, divine son? Of course. After you, the Nine Sun Divine Palace received many aspects of help from the Nine Suns, and now even has the full support of Myriad Realms' Divine Son, the nameless old man said. Qin Yun is somewhat puzzled. When he first created the Nine Sun Divine Palace, he did not receive many aspects of help from the Nine Suns. He only received a little bit of help from time to time. The nameless old man has already returned. He said that he would be able to obtain the Nine Sun Heavenly Race's bloodline divine origin in about a month. Qin Yun knows that the Nine Sun Divine Mark situation is very serious. He did not go find Qin Long and instead returned to the Wild Beheader Villa. Next, he has to hurry up and open the second mysterious god, Tao Meridian. Qin Yun is quietly comprehending inside the floating cloud pagoda. He opened the first mysterious god, Tao Meridian, through the heavenly Tao rune. This means that his heavenly Tao rune is currently connected to that mysterious god, Tao Meridian, and is continuously obtaining divine power. Moreover, is a very special and powerful heavenly Tao divine power. And next, Qin Yun does not know how to open the Tao Meridian through that mysterious god Tao image. The relationship between the mysterious god Tao image and the Tao Meridian is very close. The Tao Meridian opened by different Tao images will obtain different amounts of divine power. Opening the mysterious god Tao Meridian mainly depends on one's comprehension ability. One must comprehend the heavenly Tao. The stronger the mysterious god Tao Meridian, the better. The more power that would flow into the Tao Meridian, the more power that would fuse with the power of the Myriad Realms' Divine Son. It will be able to fuse into a very powerful divine power. Qin Yun is in seclusion and knows nothing about the outside world. His comprehension ability is extremely high, so he quickly comprehended the profoundness of the Tao Meridian. Suddenly, his divine saber, Tao image, trembled. This time, the mysterious god, Tao Meridian, was opened through the divine saber, Tao image. Does this mean that when I use saber-type weapons, my power will be even stronger? Qin Yun sensed the mysterious Tao power pouring into his body through the two Tao Meridians. After the Tao power entered his body, it absorbed the energy of the Myriad Realms' Divine Sun through the Nine Sun divine veins. The two types of energy fused, and the divine power seemed to have exploded. It was fierce and powerful. Qin Yun took a deep breath and then activated all the divine power in his body. The two mysterious god, Tao Meridians, also roared and released divine power. Qin Yun controlled the formidable divine power and circulated it within his body. He wants to see if his body can withstand this power. Yuner, release even stronger divine power. Qin Yun shouted. Ling Yuner also released the power of her little nether Sunday. Many streams of divine power converged and flowed within Qin Yun's body, causing his body to continuously release berserk divine power aura. The floating cloud pagoda also slightly trembled from the impact of the formidable power. Qin Yun continued for a while before withdrawing the divine power. How is it? Ling Yuner asked. My body is very strong. Now I don't feel any pain at all. After opening the third mysterious god, Tao Meridian, I don't know if it will still be this easy. Qin Yun secretly believed the nameless old man's words. When he opened the third mysterious god, Tao Meridian, his body might not be able to keep up. Qin Yun took a bath and walked out of the floating cloud pagoda. Several people came to the Wild Beheader Villa. Qin Long, Qin Zhangquang, Dog God, Divine Universe, Ice Dragon, and Dragon Jew, they all came. After seeing them, Qin Yun is also very happy and promptly walked over. You all have 9 Sun Divine Marks. Qin Yun saw that Qin Long also has a 9 Sun Divine Mark on his forehead and said in shock, Why don't you have it? Qin Zhangquang shouted. Little Qin, is there a problem with your bloodline? No, I'm fine. It's just that my situation is a bit special. Qin Yun chuckled. Qin Long said, We came here to bid farewell to you. We will be leaving for a period of time. Chapter 2167. Qin Long and the others have just recovered their bloodline not long ago, and they already have something to do. It sounds like a rather difficult task. It can be seen that they will be gone for a long time. Will it be dangerous? Asked Qin Yun. It's not too dangerous. We just need to find a mountain. That mountain is very important to the Nine Yang Divine Palace. Moreover, we dragons are needed to find that mountain. Divine Universe Ice Dragon said. It's good that it's not dangerous. Qin Yun smiled and said, Then how long will it take? A few months. We will also take a look and see if we can find a dragon pearl for you. Qin Long patted Qin Yun's shoulder and said with a smile, Let's go. We have something to tell you. Qin Yun promptly brought Qin Long to a secret room. Inside the secret room, Qin Long's expression became serious and said, Xiao Yun, do you know why the Nine Yang Divine Palace suddenly appeared? Qin Yun is also very puzzled. He can only guess that the reason why the Nine Yang Divine Palace appeared is related to the myriad realms Divine Sunday. Divine Desolate has been formed for more than 100 years. It is indeed a bit late for the Nine Yang Divine Palace to return now. Qin Yun said, Dad, do you know why the Nine Yang Divine Palace came back? I'm not too sure. In short, according to what I know inside the Nine Yang Divine Palace, the Nine Yang Divine Palace is going to fight a great battle. And when the time comes, the outstanding disciples of the Nine Yang royal family will all be warriors. Qin Long said, Why do you think so? Qin Yun is greatly shocked. We all received very good treatment, and the Nine Yang Divine Palace also very clearly expressed that they want to nurture us into warriors who are very good at fighting. Qin Long said, That white commander also said that the Nine Yang Divine Palace and the Nine Yang royal family will become one in the future. Qin Yun's eyes turned back and forth. He thought of the ancient races that the nameless old man mentioned. Now, if the Nine Yang Divine Palace wants to start a war, only those ancient races can match the power of the Nine Yang Divine Palace. Dad, is the Nine Yang Divine Palace stable? Qin Yun said, I just want to understand clearly, but I don't want to enter the Nine Yang Divine Palace again. Qin Long said, Xiao Yun, the situation inside the Nine Yang Divine Palace is rather complicated. We have seen White Commander and a few other elders of the Nine Yang Divine Palace. Their relationship isn't that good. Bad relationship? Could it be that they were secretly fighting for something? This is not a good thing. Qin Yun said, There are too many internal struggles. It will bring about great influence. Qin Long nodded, patted Qin Yun's shoulder, and said, The Nine Yang Divine Palace needs you. If possible, I suggest you enter the Nine Yang Divine Palace to take a look. But, Qin Yun looked troubled. What? You are the Palace King. Qin Long laughed. You were just going back to take a look. You just need to hide. To be honest, I feel guilty towards the Nine Yang Divine Palace. Although I am a Palace King, in the next few epochs, Nine Yang Divine Palace had nothing to do with me. If not for Nine Yang secretly helping me many times, Nine Yang Divine Palace would have already ceased to exist. He had very special feelings for the Nine Yang Divine Palace, but he also knew that the fact that the Nine Yang Divine Palace could still exist until now had nothing to do with him. Therefore, he was worried that if he returned, it would cause the Nine Yang Divine Palace to become even more chaotic unless he had enough strength to obtain the recognition of the Nine Yang Divine Palace's upper echelons. You are also considering this for the good of the Nine Yang Divine Palace. However, if the Nine Yang Divine Palace is facing a crisis, if you are in the Nine Yang Divine Palace, you can more or less help. Qin Long said, Dad, will the Nine Yang Divine Palace be in danger? Qin Yun asked doubtfully. From the current situation, the Nine Yang Divine Palace should be developing quite well. Qin Long shook his head and said, According to my experience and intuition, the situation inside the Nine Yang Divine Palace is rather complicated. As for the specifics, you will need to figure it out yourself. All right, it seems like I can only make a trip to the Nine Yang Divine Palace. Qin Yun sighed. Qin Long laughed. Next time I see Yun Long, I'll ask him again and ask him to bring your mother over. Our family will reunite once more. As long as we are still alive, It is equivalent to a reunion, Qin Yun said with a smile. In his heart, he is still very much looking forward to seeing his mother. After Qin Long and Qin Yun left the secret room, they went to the great hall outside and ate and chatted with Qin Zhangquang, Divine Space Ice Dragon, and others. After eating and drinking, Qin Long, Divine Space Ice Dragon, Qin Zhangquang, and Immortal Desolate Dragon Emperor left the Qin Medicine King City together. Dog God and others will temporarily stay in the Qin Medicine King City. They all have God positions and will receive some preferential treatment in the Nine Yang Divine Palace. Qin Yun is thinking about how to enter the Nine Yang Divine Palace. If he wants to enter, there are many ways. For example, let Granny Qianghua bring him in. He is the one who defeated Primal Chaos Race's Qin Fei and is also a very powerful pill master. Another way is to use God Position to enter. With God Position, he can also enter the Nine Yang Divine Palace. If he doesn't want to expose Qin Fei's identity, he can create a Rain God Position for himself and then easily enter the Nine Yang Divine Palace. After some consideration, Qin Yun decided to use Qin Fei's identity to enter the Nine Yang Divine Palace. Only like this can he stay inside more comfortably. After thinking it through, Qin Yun sent Dog God to Jasper Flower Valley to find Granny Qianghua. Granny Qianghua immediately rushed to the Wild Beheader Villa. After seeing Qin Yun, she said in shock, "Xiao Qin, you haven't recovered your bloodline?" Qin Yun doesn't have 9 Sun Divine marks, so he can see it with a glance. The situation is rather special. Qin Yun said, "Granny, I don't have 9 Sun Divine marks. Will it affect my ability to enter the Nine Yang Divine Palace?" "Of course not. You are the one who helped our Nine Yang royal family to be reborn. The Nine Yang Divine Palace has always welcomed you," Granny Qianghua said with smile. "All right then, take me to the Nine Yang Divine Palace," Qin Yun said. He also wants to meet the general manager called White Death. This general manager, White, has great influence in the Nine Yang Divine Palace. He is certainly not a simple person. Granny Qianghua took out a small flying boat, carried Qin Yun, and flew towards the huge Divine Palace floating in the sky outside the city. After approaching the Divine Palace, Qin Yun's mood is very complicated. Because this kind of feeling is very familiar, it gave him many beautiful memories. The Nine Yang Divine Palace is still the same Nine Yang Divine Palace. All kinds of great formations have not changed much. Qin Yun closed his eyes and sensed the familiar feeling. The gate of the Nine Yang Divine Palace is very large. After entering, there's an incomparably spacious palace hall inside. It is like a super huge plaza. It can easily accommodate tens of thousands of people. There are many big and small doors all around the palace hall. Qin Yun followed Granny Qianghua. Walking on a red carpet in the middle of the hall, they walked towards a golden door. Qin Yun looked all around. He seems very curious. This spacious palace hall is not decorated very luxuriously. On the contrary, it has a kind of vicissitudes feeling. Only some places have been decorated and improved. This place still gives Qin Yun a very familiar feeling. In the past, many powerful heavenly god puppets gathered in this palace hall. They were the puppet army created by him. They're all very powerful. Xiao Qin, this is the palace hall of the Nine Yang Divine Palace. This is a very sacred place. We gathered here before. Then a small myriad realms divine sun appeared in the sky above the palace hall and directly transmitted a lot of formidable power to us. Granny Qianghua said with smile. So awesome. Qin Yun said with smile. This is your first time here. Don't you feel that this place has a kind of indescribable shock? When we first came here, it was the same. Granny Qianghua said. Qin Yun is not at all unfamiliar with this place. It can be said that he is the person who understands the internal structure of the Nine Yang Divine Palace the most. No one else. Qin Yun just smiled. The feeling this palace gives him is only familiarity and nostalgia. There is no other special feeling. Finally, Granny Qianghua led Qin Yun through the incomparably spacious palace hall and entered the solemn door. There's a light screen on the door. Only with the permission of the person inside can they enter. When Granny Qianghua led Qin Yun in, she touched the light screen. If the person inside allows them to enter, they can enter. If they can't enter, they will be blocked by the light screen barrier. After passing through the light screen, there's a lake inside and they can see the dark blue sky. Qin Yun and Granny Qianghua are now walking on the 9 zigzag bridge above the lake. The 9 zigzag bridge is shaped like a dragon. It is also very big. Walking on the bridge is like walking inside the body of a curved dragon. In the middle of the lake is a very large flat land. It is full of flowers and plants. There's a 3-story light blue small building. The small building is built with blue crystal. It looks very beautiful. 9 Dragon Lake, Qin Yun said in his heart. In the past, this is the place where I raised dragons. Little Qin, this place is really good. There's another heavenly cave inside the palace. This is a space. Granny Qianghua said with a smile. Don't you think it is very magical? Qin Yun looked around and nodded. He looked around to see if there are any other changes. But in Granny Qianghua's eyes, Qin Yun is like a curious baby. Arriving at the small building in the middle of the 9 Dragon Lake, Granny Qianghua shouted, White Commander, do you still remember that Qin Fei? I brought him here. In, Granny Qianghua, bring him in. Wait for me in the hall. An ethereal woman's voice came. Granny Qianghua led Qin Yun into the hall and said, White Commander, I still have something to do. I will leave him here. Don't make things difficult for him. All right, White Death said. Qin Yun also wanted to meet this strange name. White Commander called White Death. He only wanted to know why she called herself by such a name. If it was a man, it would be fine, but it was a woman who called him by such a name. Qin Yun waited in the hall, thousands of thoughts running through his mind, especially in the 9 Yang Divine Palace. It evoked many memories. All of them are of the past. Chapter 2168. Qin Yun doesn't know what happened to those little dragons in the end, or whether they are still in this 9 Yang Divine Palace. Back then in the Divine Desolate, there were several 9 Yang Divine Palaces, and this 9 Yang Divine Palace was the main palace. It was the best hidden one. The other 9 Yang Divine Palaces were destroyed, and only this one remained. Qin Yun had originally thought that even the 9 Yang Divine Palace would be destroyed. The hall is very quiet. Qin Yun closed his eyes, and along with the familiar feeling, he constantly recalled the time when he was in the 9 Yang Divine Palace. Suddenly, someone came in. Qin Yun immediately opened his eyes. An old man wearing a luxurious golden red robe walked in with 2 young men. This old man is wearing a golden crown with a dragon carved on it. His sunken eyes are filled with viciousness. Just his gaze alone is very frightening. Although he is dressed in a dragon robe and a dragon crown, his entire body does not have the might of a dragon. Instead, it gives people the feeling that he is a vicious, poisonous snake. The 2 young men behind the old man also have cold and arrogant expressions on their faces. Qin Yun never expected that the White Commander would actually have a guest. Soon after, a fat red-clothed old woman walked in with a delicate red-dressed woman. When Qin Yun saw the woman, he is extremely alarmed. That woman was someone he knew. Her name was Wang Xiangtong, and she was also that little sister. Wang Xiangtong's grandfather was once a member of the 9 Yang Divine Palace, but he was later chased out. When she was in the Immortal Desolate, she even sparred with Qin Yun in inscription battle technique and lost him. Of course, she did not recognize Qin Yun. Back then, Wang Xiangtong thought that Qin Yun was an old fellow, but later on, she found out that his real name is Qin Yun. Later on, she also learned many things about Qin Yun. Old Yellow Snake, is this the disciple you just accepted? Why does he look so weak? The old woman said with a look of disdain. Qin Yun is not surprised that the old man who looks like a poisonous snake is called Old Yellow Snake. Old Mother Bear, is the disciple you just accepted very powerful? The Old Yellow Snake said with sneer. This little girl is a human, and my disciples are all very strong human transformed divine beasts. Old Mother Bear laughed and said, So what? The Old Yellow Snake no longer said anything and only shut his mouth. Following that, another person walked in. The person who entered was a chubby old man with a round face. The fat old man wore simple black clothes and walked in with a rather handsome young man. Qin Yun recognized the round-faced fat old man. He was the sect leader of the ancient pill god sect, Gu Tianhua. Gu Tianhua brought his son, Gu Yongli. When they saw Qin Yun, they pretended not to know him. However, they were very alarmed in their hearts. Both father and son knew Qin Yun. They knew that this young man was at the profound god realm. He had beaten up a group of chaos race gods and killed the heavenly mother and heavenly man who were at the heavenly god realm. They hurriedly transmitted their greetings to each other. Sect Master Gu, what are you doing here? Qin Yun asked with a voice transmission. Our ancient Dan God sect is in alliance with the Nine Yang Divine Palace. The White Commander has invited me to discuss business. Gu Tianhua replied, I don't know those two, but they seem to be from the Nine Yang Divine Palace. It seems like their positions are quite high. At that moment, the White Commander arrived. She walked out from a door, wearing a simple set of white clothes. Her long braid hung in front of her, and she carried a long sword in a black scabbard on her back. Her face was very delicate and pretty. Her jade-white face was small and exquisite. Her pair of beautiful eyes carried a faint sense of majesty that made people feel a little afraid. This White Commander was also a beauty, and she was a petite and exquisite kind. Wang Xiangtong, this little sister, looked rather petite, and the White Death, this steward, was actually a little shorter than her. However, this petite and dainty White Commander gave off a very strong spiritual pressure. Everyone stood up and greeted her politely. She placed the long sword on her back on a table, and her beautiful eyes swept across the crowd. Finally, her gaze landed on Qin Yun. Qin Yun faced it indifferently. White Death was looking at him, and he was also looking at White Death. You are the Qin Fei that Grandma Qianghua brought with her? White Death looked at Qin Yun and asked with some doubt. Qin Fei. Hearing this name, the old yellow snake and the old bear mother were extremely shocked, because this Qin Fei was an influential figure. The youngsters behind the old yellow snake and old bear mother are now staring at Qin Yun. They previously heard that Qin Fei is a one-eyed dragon. They never expected him to be so handsome. Even White Death felt somewhat surprised by Qin Yun. This one is indeed Qin Fei. Qin Yun said with smile. You recovered the nine-son royal family bloodline. How come you don't have nine-son divine marks? White Death looked at Qin Yun and said with frown. That's because I'm sick. Qin Yun replied in a deadpan manner. Everyone is startled. Sick? Nine-son divine marks are gone? How could such an awesome person get sick? Everyone is very puzzled. White Death is even more puzzled and asked, What disease? Skin disease. Qin Yun replied earnestly. Everyone immediately sank into silence. Skin disease means no nine-son divine marks. This can be explained. Is that so? What kind of skin disease can erase nine-son divine marks? White Death said in disbelief. I don't know either. Maybe it's because the nine-son divine marks in my skin have some conflict, so it won't appear. This should be considered a strange disease. Qin Yun said, this is all his nonsense. All right, you were able to defeat so many experts of the profound God realm. Your bloodline must be very strong. The Nine Yang Divine Palace will definitely focus on nurturing you. White Death said, no longer wondering why Qin Yun doesn't have nine-son divine marks. Soon after, White Death said to everyone, please sit. After everyone sat down, they finally heaved a sigh of relief. I invited the three of you here because our Nine Yang Divine Palace is in urgent need of a batch of divine pills. If the three of you can provide it, our Nine Yang Divine Palace will definitely give you a satisfactory price. White Death said, I can also be considered a member of the Nine Yang Divine Palace. The price is negotiable. Old Bear Mother said, of course, I only have medicinal ingredients. I don't know how to refine pills. Mother Bear, it's fine as long as you can provide medicinal ingredients for the ancient Dan God sect to refine pills. The ancient Dan God sect master will definitely be able to cooperate very happily with you. White Death said with a faint smile. Gu Tianhua cupped his fists at Mother Bear with a smile as a form of greeting. Old Ancestor Yellow Snake, you have quite a few medicinal ingredients in your hands, and your yellow snake race can find a lot of medicinal ingredients. Are you willing to provide us with a large amount of divine medicines? White Death looked at Old Yellow Snake and asked. Very willing, Old Ancestor Yellow Snake said. Following that, White Death discussed the price with them, mainly using sun god crystals to pay. Just as they were about to finish their discussion, a shout suddenly came from outside. White Death, you damn girl, hurry up and let me in. The person who shouted seemed to be an old man, and he was very fierce. White Death ignored the person shouting outside. She knew who that person was, so she didn't let him enter the light screen. Old Ancestor Yellow Snake, Mother Bear, Ancient Dan God Sec Master, listen up. The price that White Death Girl promised to give you is impossible to fulfill. Our 9-yang divine palace doesn't have many divine crystals. The old man outside shouted again. Moreover, most of the divine crystals are in my hands. White Death frowned and said, The three of you, you must believe me. The price they were discussing was over 10 billion divine crystals. It was a very huge transaction. To a powerful force, 10 billion divine crystals was considered a lot. Especially when they were about to make a transaction, they had to be cautious. White Commander, is the person speaking outside a Dragon Palace Elder? Mother Bear said in a low voice. Is what he said true? Mother Bear, believe me, I will definitely pay up. White Death's expression is still very calm as she said. Although she said that, Mother Bear and Old Ancestor Yellow Snake are somewhat hesitant. The Dragon Palace Elder outside shouted, If you agree to her, you will definitely regret it. This damn girl, White Death, has mastered a supreme secret technique. Even if you sign a soul contract with her, she can still go back on her word. White Death's beautiful eyes are filled with helplessness as she looked outside the door. At this time, she also controlled the light screen outside to open, allowing the Dragon Palace Elder to enter. Qingyun is no stranger to the Dragon Palace. Within the 9-yang Divine Palace, there are 9 great halls, and the Dragon Palace is one of them. Even in the past, the Dragon Palace had a lot of authority. The Dragon Palace Elder in front of him is a fiendish old man wearing brown battle armor. The dragon, might from his body, scared the hell out of Old Ancestor Yellow Snake. Even Mother Bear was a little afraid of this Dragon Palace Elder. Dragon Palace Elder, my decision concerns the future development of the 9-yang Divine Palace. The divine pills I want can help the great God Realm royal family disciples become stronger faster. White Death said, I know, but have you ever considered that after the young people of the 9-yang royal family become stronger, they might just leave? The Dragon Palace Elder snorted. Those fellows are all incomparably arrogant, especially those with powerful bloodlines. They are very difficult to tame. White Death said, Your Dragon Palace is in charge of the Imperial Dragon Clan. They all have to give you some face, right? The Dragon Palace Elder cursed in a low voice. Those old fellows can give me face, but the young people can't. All of them are arrogant. They all feel that they are invincible in the world, and this is all because of that brat called Qin Fei. This guy easily defeated the royal grandson of the primal chaos race, causing the other disciples of the 9-yang royal family to feel that they are as strong as Qin Fei. Gu Tianyue said doubtfully, Is that not the case? The Dragon Palace Elder snorted. How could that be? According to the information I have, Qin Fei is a profound god. He can instantly kill the great god of the primal chaos race and even kill the heavenly god realm heavenly emperor. This is not as simple as having a bloodline. Then what's the reason? Qin Yun asked. Who knows what the reason is? In short, those 9-yang royal family disciples are all led astray by this Qin Fei. When I see this Qin Fei, I will definitely beat him up and let those arrogant royal family disciples know how powerful I am. The Dragon Palace Elder said with a displeased expression. Chapter 21:69. The Dragon Palace Elder is dumbfounded. He never expected that the legendary genius of the Qin family would be here. Furthermore, he looks so ordinary. Furthermore, He did not see any characteristics of the nine-son royal family's bloodline from Qin Yun. Whether it is aura or nine-son divine marks, these obvious characteristics are absent. This is also what Mother Bear, Old Yellow Snake, and Gu Tianyue were very puzzled about. Even if Qin Yun does not have nine-son divine marks, he should have the aura of the nine-son bloodline. Qin Yun's bloodline aura is not obvious, and he does not know why. Of course, it is certain that he cultivated a powerful body through his bloodline. Are you really that kid? The Dragon Palace Elder is very surprised because in his understanding, this kind of genius must be very arrogant. However, Qin Yun is not arrogant at all. Qin Yun's arrogance is reflected in another aspect. When dealing with people, he is very easygoing. Dragon Palace Elder, didn't you say that you wanted to beat him up? White Death smiled and made a gesture. Please begin your performance. Elder, how about this? You said that those young geniuses are very difficult to tame. Then I can help you destroy their spirit. Qin Yun said, right now, let White Commander complete the transaction first. The Dragon Palace Elder frowned. This. Can you really deal with them? I have heard of your strength, but you don't seem very powerful. You don't even have nine-son divine marks. Rumor has it that you use poison to defeat the Primal Chaos race. One must know that before the battle with the Primal Chaos race, as an alchemist, Qin Yun used poison to defeat those young alchemists. Therefore, some people suspect that he secretly used a very powerful poison without being discovered. Of course I can deal with them. If White Commander obtains the batch of divine pills she wants, she will definitely not give them out easily. If the young people of the nine-son royal family are not well-behaved, they will not be able to obtain the divine pills. Qin Yun said, Dragon Palace Elder, I know you are angry, but our nine-yon divine palace needs new blood. We need a group of powerful youths to join us. White Death sighed. At this moment, she also felt that Qin Yun is very different. He does not seem like a young and frivolous genius. The Dragon Palace Elder hesitated for a moment and said, all right then, if you want to distribute the divine pills, you have to get my permission. You can't give them to those little bastards so easily. After the Dragon Palace Elder stopped obstructing them, the transaction was completed smoothly. Gu Tianyue, Mother Bear, and Old Yellow Snake followed the Dragon Palace Elder to collect a portion of the Sun God crystals. If Qin Yun stayed, he would die for nothing. You are quite surprising. Bai Si looked at Qin Yun. Her beautiful eyes flowed with hope. Her small and exquisite beautiful face revealed a sweet smile. Then, what kind of person do you think I am? Qin Yun laughed heartily. White Commander, is there someone bad-mouthing me? White Death said with a smile. No, I just feel that you should be a very cold and arrogant person. Back then, Qin Yun was indeed very arrogant when facing the Chaos Clansmen, but that was only a deliberate act he put on to agitate the Chaos Clansmen. Many people also remembered this side of him, so there were rumors that he was a very arrogant genius, and so on. White Manager, the Nine-Yang Divine Palace is lacking people, right? Qin Yun asked. Yes, there is a lack of talented youngsters. Are you willing to join the Nine-Yang Divine Palace? White Death laughed and said, don't worry, I will definitely take special care of a genius like you. Then how do you plan on taking special care of me? Qin Yun crossed his legs and stared at White Death's dignified eyes. I will give you the best resources, give you the best help. White Death said, I don't lack resources, and you can't give me the resources I want. Qin Yun said with certainty, it seems like I don't understand you well enough. White Death said with some doubt, although you are powerful, I feel that you are not much weaker than the youngsters of the Dragon Palace. Qin Yun said, youngsters of the Dragon Palace? Did they just recover their nine-son royal family bloodline? Then they are definitely not my match. White Death laughed lightly and said, if you use poison, I am also not your match. Qin Yun felt somewhat depressed. Back then, when he beat up the Primal Chaos royal grandson and instantly killed the Heavenly Mother Heavenly Man, many people saw it with their own eyes. Even now, there are still people who suspect him of using poison. He secretly guessed that someone might be deliberately discrediting him and slandering him. It is extremely likely that it is the Nine Sons sect, Thunder God Hall, and heavenly law divine domain. All right, I am a pill master, and I'm also very strong. What can your 9 yang divine palace give me? Qin Yun said, it seems like you are quite arrogant. You actually look down on our 9 yang divine palace. White Death smiled sweetly. But your arrogance makes me feel that it is somewhat cute. Qin Yin touched his face and said with a smile, some people say that I am handsome. Some people say that I'm honest. Some people say that I am vicious. But there are very few who say that I am cute. Our 9 yang divine palace is not bad. We have all kinds of inheritances here. Our inheritances can be said to be among the best in the divine desolate, especially the inheritance of inscription. I heard that you are also an inscription master. Our inscription is sufficiently attractive to you. White Death said seriously. Qin Yin found it somewhat funny. Most of the inheritances of the 9 yang divine palace were left behind by him. The thing he lacked the least was the inheritance of the 9 yang divine palace. He still had not completely figured out the situation of a 9 yang divine palace, so he could not reveal his identity, lest he be killed by some hidden evil person. Seeing that Qin Yin did not speak, White Death said again, I know that you are a rare genius. If you want to ask for too much from me, that is fine. However, the prerequisite is that you must understand the situation of our 9 yang divine palace. Qin Yin said, you misunderstood my meaning. I'm not trying to ask for too much. I don't want anything. I just want some privileges. I will stay in the 9 yang divine palace, but you must not interfere with my life or travel, nor can you arrange for me to do anything else. White Death was extremely shocked. She never expected Qin Yin to think this way. Qin Yin smiled and said, don't worry if the 9 yang divine palace needs me to fight. As long as I'm still alive, I will definitely go on stage. You really don't want anything? White Death did not dare believe it. Although the 9 yang divine palace did not have many resources, it still had some. Especially for people at the profound God realm, it was sufficiently attractive. The other thing was the inscriptions. The 9 yang divine palace had many inscriptions. This was also the reason why the 9 yang divine palace had been able to stand tall for so many years. I will see what the situation is like. Of course, if you don't give it to me, I won't have any objections. Qin Yun said, all right, you can stay in the 9 yang divine palace. I will give you the privileges you need. White Death felt that there was no harm in doing so, so he agreed. Qin Yin wanted to stay in the 9 yang divine palace. He also wanted to investigate the attitude of the people in charge of the 9 yang divine palace towards the 9 yang divine palace. In addition, the 9 yang divine palace clearly had their own grand plan. Qin Yin also wanted to figure it out. At this moment, he was also secretly sighing. In the end, he still couldn't let go of the 9 yang divine palace. Now, he was extremely concerned about the situation of the 9 yang divine palace. Why, Commander? Why are you called White Death? This name doesn't sound good. Qin Yun said, this is the first time someone has dared to ask me this question. White Death laughed and said, you're really quite arrogant. Aren't you afraid of anything? Qin Yun chuckled and said, White Commander, could it be that I'll be killed just because I asked you a question? You look so petite and cute. What's there to be afraid of? Petite and cute? White Death's beautiful eyes narrowed, and she said with a chuckle, you are indeed very bold. No wonder you dare to argue with Thunder God and Divine Judge. You haven't answered my question yet. Qin Yun asked. He only wanted to know if White Death had anything to do with the White Tiger back then. White Death's expression suddenly became very serious. Moreover, it carried a hint of coldness. A faint killing intent appeared in her eyes and between her brows. She stared at Qin Yin, and Qin Yin stared at her. The atmosphere in the small hall suddenly became very oppressive. However, Qin Yin still maintained a relaxed smile as he watched White Death. He knew that White Death was testing him and giving him a very strong mental pressure. After the two of them looked at each other for a moment, a smile suddenly appeared on White Death's face. She said, I died the moment I was born. In addition, my father was the White Tiger, so he named me White Death. Qin Yin was startled. In his memories, the white tiger divine beast that protected the 9 yang divine palace back, then did indeed have a little daughter. She died the moment she was born, and her soul was still trapped in her body. It was a very powerful curse power that caused the soul to be trapped in the body. It was extremely painful. The white tiger was very sad, so he asked the 9 yang palace king for help to seal his little daughter's body and soul so that she could sleep peacefully. And after the little tiger girl was sealed, her body had always been in the 9 yang divine palace. After that, Qin Yin did not know where the white tiger went or what happened to the white tiger, because after he died as the palace king, he had always been tortured by the heavenly law divine realm. You died the moment you were born. Why are you still alive? Qin Yin took a deep breath and asked, because this divine palace gave me a new life. White Death said, in short, no matter what, I will protect this divine palace forever. Qin Yin said, what about your father? He is a white tiger, a very powerful mythological beast. He's dead. He died miserably. White Death said with a calm expression, and I can't avenge him because I have to protect this divine palace. This is also what he told me before he died. Qin Yun's expression is also very calm, but his heart is filled with incomparable anger. A kind of anger filled with strong, killing intent suddenly spread out. Chapter 2170. When Bai Si heard that Qin Yun wanted to avenge her, she felt surprised and touched at the same time. Who killed your father? Qin Yun really wanted to avenge the white tiger. I don't know either. White Death let out a soft sigh. She, who had been calm all this while, suddenly had a sorrowful look on her face. How could you not know? Didn't he mention it to you before he died? Qin Yun felt that Bai Qing might have deliberately concealed it. Bai Si shook his head and said, he didn't say it, mainly because he was worried that I would take revenge for him. I really don't know. I also wanted to investigate, but I kept holding back and didn't investigate clearly. Qin Fei, let's not talk about this anymore. I'm already very grateful that you have such intentions. White Death said with a smile. Yes, I want to go to the Dragon Palace Hall. Qin Yun said, that Dragon Palace elder thinks that I have led those 9-son royal family youngsters astray, so I will help him teach them a lesson. White Death shook his head and smiled. Forget it. If you don't use poison, you won't be a match for those guys. They all have the bloodline of the 9 sons royal family and are very powerful. Why are you so sure that I used poison? Qin Yun had a helpless expression as he smiled bitterly. You are only a profound god, but you can defeat a god of heaven. If it wasn't poison, then what was it? No matter how strong you are, it is impossible for you to cross 2 realms to kill a heavenly god. White Death said. She wasn't the only one who thought so. Many people felt the same way when they heard about it. Although many people had witnessed what had happened, after thinking about it carefully, it was simply too impossible. That was because they did not know that Qin Yun possessed 9 divine, profound Tao images. Furthermore, the Tao power obtained by his profound God Tao vein was extremely powerful. This was mainly because he had the heavenly Tao divine rune. I am going to the Dragon Palace Hall, Qin Yun said. He wants to see how arrogant those young geniuses of the 9-son royal family are. The best way to deal with those arrogant young people was to be more arrogant than them. If they were not convinced, then use your fist to beat them until they were convinced. White Death said, how could you know the way? Let me take you there. Of course Qin Yin knew the way. No one was more familiar with the 9-yang divine palace than him. He suspected that there were many secret rooms in the 9-yang divine palace that even the upper echelons like Bai Si and the others did not know about. Qin Yin also planned to secretly explore the secret chamber of the 9-yang divine palace in the future. There are many secret places in the 9-yang divine palace that only Qin Yin knows about. Furthermore, there are many important things inside. White Death picked up the sword on the table and left 9 Dragon Lake with Qin Yun for the Dragon Palace. There were many doors of various sizes around the hall. Different doors led to different places. At this moment, Qin Yun is following Bai Si towards a dragon head door. The entrance to the door was a huge dragon head with its mouth wide open. There was also a screen of light. After passing through the light screen, he would be able to reach the Dragon Palace. From the outside, the Nine-Yang Divine Palace looked like a huge divine palace, but inside, there were many small heavenly passages and small spaces. The Dragon Palace was in a small space. After entering the Dragon Head Gate, they saw a villa situated on a plain. The Dragon Hall was in the middle of the villa. In this small space, one could directly see two myriad worlds' divine suns, one big and one small. At night, the myriad heavens' divine moon and countless stars would also appear in the sky. Qin Yun is somewhat surprised because after so many years, the Dragon Palace is still the same. It has not changed much. After entering the villa, a very berserk aura surged over from all directions. The Dragon Palace is a very important organization within the Nine-Yang Divine Palace. This place is mainly responsible for training Heavenly Dragon War God. This is also one of the main battle strength of the Nine-Yang Divine Palace. Although it is called the Dragon Palace, not only dragons can be here. Anyone who wants to cultivate dragon arts can come here to cultivate. The main responsibility of the Dragon Palace is to pass down all kinds of cultivation techniques and battle skills of the Dragon Palace to nurture a qualified Heavenly Dragon War God. Therefore, the disciples of the Dragon Palace fight all day long. When the Dragon Palace Elder learned that Qin Yun and White Death had arrived, he promptly rushed over and brought them to a guest hall. Dragon Palace Elder, this brat is coming. He said that he wants to help you teach those arrogant youngsters a lesson. White Death said with a smile, "Make the arrangements." The Dragon Palace Elder chuckled and said, "It seems like you are also a very arrogant youngster. You actually want to teach those guys a lesson?" Qin Yun said, "Bring me there." "All right, I'll immediately order people to gather them and wait for you." The Dragon Palace Elder's face is filled with smiles. "Dragon Palace Elder, you seem to be very happy," White Death said with a smile. "Why are you in such a good mood?" The Dragon Palace Elder chuckled and said, "Those guys all said that they can beat this Qin Fei up. I want to see if this Qin Fei is really that godly. Looking at his arrogant appearance, maybe he will be beaten until his teeth fall all over the ground." Soon after, the Dragon Palace Elder instructed a middle-aged man to gather the dozens of young geniuses. "Really? Do they really think they can beat me up?" Qin Yun's face is also filled with a happy smile. "If that's really the case, then that's really great. Why do you think it's good?" The Dragon Palace Elder is somewhat doubtful. "It's rare to meet an opponent. Isn't it good? You don't know how lonely it is to be invincible," Qin Yun said with a faint smile. "Ha ha, you're indeed a little different from the masses. Your arrogant way is very different," the Dragon Palace Elder said with a smile. "When you are beaten to tears later, you will know that loneliness is also good." White Death sighed. "You guys, all of you are so self-righteous. You really won't shed a tear until you see the coffin." Not long later, a middle-aged man came in and said, "Elder, I've already arranged it. Let them wait in the Hidden Dragon Arena." Hearing the words Hidden Dragon Arena, Qin Yun immediately recalled the matter of this arena. This was a very special arena, and it was also built by him. The Hidden Dragon Arena was an arena dug out from the ground and was very wide. To enter the Hidden Dragon Arena, one did not directly jump down. One needed to slowly walk down the stairs. Although it was only 100 meters deep, if one jumped down from above, they would be slammed into the ground by a very strong force. If it was serious, they would be smashed to pieces. The reason why there was such a barrier was mainly to restrict people from jumping and flying in the arena. This way, they would be greatly restricted when dodging and could only fight head-on. Also, in the Hidden Dragon Arena, there would be many times the weight on one's body. Fighting in this way would be able to unearth one's potential. And the most impressive thing about the Hidden Dragon Arena was the temperature below. The temperature of the Hidden Dragon Arena was very high. Most of the people who went down to fight had to wear a set of heat-resistant clothes. During the battle, once their clothes were torn and they could not withstand the temperature, they could only admit defeat. Otherwise, it would be very uncomfortable. And the side that admitted defeat was also very special. They had to climb up the stairs. It could be said to be incomparably humiliating. Dragon Palace Elder, why is there a need to do it in the Hidden Dragon Arena? White Death suddenly felt a little worried for Qin Yun because Qin Yun had said that he would take revenge for her. It made her feel very touched, and she had a good impression of Qin Yun. Don't worry, that place is nothing to those fellows from the Nine Sons royal family. The Dragon Palace Elder smiled and said, since this expert said that he wants to teach those fellows a lesson, then the Hidden Dragon Arena is the best place. The Dragon Palace Elder stood up and walked out of the small building, bringing Qin Yun and White Death out. On the way, White Death kept telling Qin Yun about the Hidden Dragon Arena. Qin Yun already knew about it, but pretended to listen attentively. In the Hidden Dragon Arena, there were dozens of youths wearing golden armor. Their armors were all heat-resistant. These youths all had cold and arrogant expressions on their faces. I heard that there's a guy who wants to teach us a lesson. It's that Qin Fei. Someone said, Qin Fei. He's finally here. He recovered his Nine Sons royal family bloodline, and with the poison in his hands, he was able to defeat the fellow from the primal chaos race. And we have also recovered our bloodlines, so he is definitely not our match. He comes from the lower realms and is not considered an orthodox descendant of the Imperial clan. He only has a very thin bloodline of the Imperial clan in his body. The Nine Sons royal family bloodline that he recovers is definitely not as strong as ours. This fellow thinks that he can defeat the royal grandson of the primal chaos race and is so arrogant. He even said that he wants to teach us a lesson. That old fellow, the Dragon Palace Elder, can't deal with us, so he invited that fellow to show us his might. These youths had all recovered their Nine Sons royal family bloodline and mainly came from the 9 clans. There were even dragons and dragonmen from the Imperial Dragon clan. There were also disciples of the Qin family, but none of them were descendants of the Medicine King Qin. They were all descendants of the other kings, but when they found out that the person who had come was from the Qin family, they restrained themselves a lot. They still admired Qin Fei. After all, he was someone who had helped the Qin family save face. As for the disciples of the other clans, they did not have such a sense of identity. They all felt that if they had recovered their bloodlines back then, they would definitely have been able to defeat the primal chaos race. They stood in the Hidden Dragon Arena and looked at the edge of the arena that was dozens of meters tall. There were few people standing there. The White Commander is here too, someone said in shock. Was that Qin Fei brought by the White Commander? This White Commander is so prejudiced against us. He brought this fellow to teach us a lesson. Maybe it was the old man from the Dragon Palace who called him over. The dozens of young geniuses below all saw Qin Yun. Qin Yun looked down from above and indifferently swept his gaze across the young geniuses. They were all great gods. After recovering their bloodlines, their strength was comparable to a heavenly god. Qin Fei, didn't you want to teach them a lesson? The Dragon Palace Elder said with a smile. Seeing their aura, are you afraid? The Dragon Palace Elder purposely spoke very loudly, mainly to arouse the aura of the dozens of geniuses. As expected, the dozens of young geniuses below immediately shouted in unison, releasing a burst of strong aura. A gust of wind rushed up along with their aura. You're tuning in to the Warrior Lore YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.